Imagine yourself lying in the quiet of your room, the world outside fading into a soft hum. Tonight, we're stepping into the vast, sun-scorched expanse of the Persian Empire, a world of sprawling deserts, towering mountains, and cities that shimmered with ambition. This is a journey through time, where the rhythm of hoofbeats and the whisper of ancient winds carry you back to an era both grand and grueling. Our story unfolds across the Achaemenid Empire, where the world's first superhighway connected distant lands, but not without sacrifice. Let the steady cadence of this tale guide you, as we explore the lives of messengers who raced against time, the rise of a king who reshaped the world, the ruins of a city lost to flame, and the glittering lives of elite warriors. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let the past unfold gently around you. Picture yourself astride a horse, the horizon stretching endlessly before you. The air is thick with the scent of dust and sweat, the sun relentless overhead. You are a messenger in the Persian Empire, part of the royal road's vast network, a marvel of the ancient world. This was no ordinary postal system, but a lifeline that bound an empire stretching from the Indus River to the shores of the Mediterranean. The royal road, spanning nearly 1,700 miles, was the backbone of communication, trade, and control under the Achaemenid kings. But for you, the messenger, it was a crucible of endurance, where every gallop carried the weight of duty and danger. The royal road was a feat of engineering, its packed earth surface smoothed to allow swift travel. Way stations called chapakane dotted the route every 15 to 20 miles, offering fresh horses, water, and a moment's rest. Imagine the rhythm of your life, dismounting at one station, your legs aching from hours in the saddle, only to leap onto a new steed and charge forward again. Herodotus, the Greek historian, marveled at these couriers, writing, "Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds." A noble image, perhaps, but the reality was far less poetic. Your day begins before dawn, the air sharp with the chill of a desert night. You carry a leather satchel, sealed with the king's insignia, containing decrees, tax records, or military orders. The satchel is your burden, and your protection lose it, and you lose your life. The king's word was law, and failure was not tolerated. You ride through landscapes that shift from golden dunes to rocky passes, each mile testing your resolve. The road is not always kind. Bandits lurk in the shadows of hills, their eyes glinting with the promise of your cargo's value. A misstep on a narrow mountain path could send you and your horse plummeting into a ravine. Yet you press on, driven by duty and fear. The physical toll is relentless. Your body aches from the constant jostling, your hands blistered from gripping, reins slick with sweat. The heat of midday presses down like a heavy cloak, while nights in the open leave you shivering beneath a thin blanket. Food at the way stations is simple flatbread, dried figs, perhaps a sip of watered wine if you're lucky. Water often scarce, tastes of the clay vessels it's stored in. Sleep is a luxury, snatched in brief moments between rides. You might rest for an hour or two at a station, curled up on a straw mat, before the next leg of your journey begins. The Empire's demands are unforgiving. Messages must travel at breakneck speeds, sometimes covering 200 miles in a single day through a relay of riders. You are part of this chain, each courier handing off the satchel to the next, like a torch passed in the dark. But the weight of the Empire's expectations is yours alone. A delayed message could mean a province left unprepared for rebellion, a tax payment missed, or a military order arriving too late. The punishment for failure is severe stories circulate of messengers flogged, or worse for losing their cargo or faltering in their pace. Yet there is a strange rhythm to this life, a cadence of hoofbeats and heartbeats that becomes your world. You learn the road's secrets, the curve of a hill where the wind carries the scent of wild thyme, the distant howl of a jackal signaling nightfall. You know the stations by their keepers, a grizzled man with a limp at one, a boy who offers you a handful of dates at another. These fleeting connections are all you have, for you are a solitary figure, bound to the road. The Empire thrives because of you, yet you are invisible, a shadow racing across its vastness. The dangers are not only physical. The road crosses lands where loyalties shift like sand. In some regions, locals resent the Empire's taxes and garrisons, and a lone rider is an easy target. You carry a short dagger, but it's little comfort against a band of raiders. Stories of fallen messengers haunt you men, who vanished into the desert, their satchels torn open, their bodies left to the vultures. You learn to ride with one eye on the horizon, always watching for movement, always listening for the snap of a twig or the clatter of hooves. The bureaucracy of the empire adds another layer of strain. At major cities like Susa or Sardis, you might deliver your satchel to a scribe who inspects it with a frown, questioning its condition or timing. Your role is vital, yet you are rarely praised. You are a cog in the empire's machine, essential, but replaceable. The royal road's efficiency is a testament to the Achaemenid king's vision, but it is built on your sweat, your exhaustion, your quiet endurance. As you ride, you might wonder about the world beyond the road. You hear whispers of the great king's court in Persepolis, where golden halls gleam and banquets overflow with riches. But that world is not yours. Your world is the creak of leather, the burn of dust in your throat, the endless ribbon of the road stretching into the distance. The life of a messenger is one of constant motion, yet it is also a life of repetition, a paradox that mirrors the empire itself, vast yet bound by routine. As we leave the royal road behind, let's shift our gaze to a different figure, one whose vision created the empire you serve. The road carried his decrees, but his ambition shaped the world. Let us step into the story of Cyrus the Great, a man whose rise from tribal leader to founder of an empire still echoes through time. Imagine yourself standing on a windswept plain, the air carrying the faint scent of wild grasses and distant campfires. The year is roughly 559 BCE, and before you stands a man whose name will echo through the ages. Cyrus, soon to be called the Great. His story is one of quiet, cunning, relentless ambition, and a vision that wove disparate peoples into the tapestry of the Persian Empire. As you listen, let the steady rhythm of his life draw you deeper into the past, where a leader rose from humble beginnings to forge a legacy that still lingers in the stones of his tomb. Cyrus was born into the rugged hills of Persis, a land of shepherds and warriors, where the Achaemenid clan held sway. His father, Cambyses I, was a local king, ruling a modest territory under the shadow of the Median Empire to the north. His mother, Mandane, was said to be the daughter of the Median king, tying Cyrus to a web of royal lineage and political intrigue. The stories of his birth are woven with legend. Herodotus tells of a dream that foretold Cyrus's greatness, prompting Astyages to order the infant's death, only for him to be spared and raised by a shepherd. Whether true or myth, these tales reflect the aura of destiny that clung to him, a man who seemed chosen to reshape the world. As a young man, Cyrus grew up among the Persian tribes, learning the arts of horsemanship, archery, and leadership. Picture him riding across the plains, his cloak billowing in the wind, his eyes sharp with purpose. The Persians were a hardy people, their lives shaped by the land's harsh beauty, rocky highlands, sparse pastures, and springs that bubbled up from the earth like rare treasures. Cyrus understood their ways, their loyalties, and their pride. He was not a distant ruler, but one who shared their meals of bread and mutton, who listened to their grievances by the firelight. This connection would become his strength, binding warriors to his cause with a loyalty deeper than fear. By his early 30s, Cyrus faced a world divided by empires and rivalries. The Median Empire, ruled by Astyages, held sway over much of the region, its court rich with tribute but heavy with discontent. To the west, Lydia glittered with wealth under King Croesus, while Babylon's walls loomed in the south, a fortress of ancient power. Cyrus saw opportunity where others saw barriers. Around 550 BCE, he began his rise, not with reckless conquest but with careful alliances. He married wisely, forging ties with local chieftains, and rallied the Persian tribes, with promises of glory and unity. His leadership was not loud or boastful. It was steady, deliberate, like the flow of a river carving a new path. The first great test came against the Medes, his own kin by marriage. Astyages, sensing rebellion, sent an army to crush the upstart Persian. But Cyrus was no ordinary foe. He had won the hearts of his men, and even some of Astyages' own soldiers wavered in their loyalty. The battle, fought on the plains of Persis, was less a clash of swords than a collapse of will. Many Medes defected, drawn to Cyrus's vision of a new order. Astyages was captured, and Cyrus, in a move that defined his rule, spared his life. Instead of humiliation, he offered respect, allowing the former king to live out his days in comfort. This act of mercy was not weakness, but strategy. signaling to others that surrender to Cyrus meant dignity, not destruction. With Media under his control, Cyrus turned his gaze outward. Lydia, famed for its gold and the wealth of Croesus, was his next target. The campaign, around 546 BCE, was a study in persistence. Croesus, confident in his riches and the prophecy of the Delphic oracle, met Cyrus on the battlefield near Sardis. The clash was fierce, but brief. Lydian cavalry faltered against Persian archers and the relentless charge of Cyrus's men. When Sardis fell, Cyrus again showed restraint, sparing Croesus and absorbing Lydia's wealth into his growing empire. The gold of Lydia funded his campaigns, but it was his reputation for fairness that won him allies. Babylon, the jewel of Mesopotamia, came next in 539 BCE. The city was a fortress, its walls thick enough to race chariots upon, its Euphrates River a moat against invaders. Yet Cyrus did not rely on siege alone. He diverted the river, allowing his troops to march through its bed and enter the city with minimal bloodshed. The Babylonian chronicles speak of a city that welcomed him, weary of its own rulers' corruption. Cyrus declared himself a liberator, not a conqueror, issuing decrees that respected local gods and freed captives, including the Jews exiled from Jerusalem. His edict, allowing their return, recorded in the Hebrew Bible, cemented his image as a ruler of tolerance. Cyrus's empire was vast, but his genius lay in its governance. He did not impose Persian ways on all. In each region, he appointed governors, satraps, respected local customs while enforcing his authority. The royal road, which we explored earlier, carried his orders, linking distant provinces with the speed of hoofbeats. Taxes flowed to his coffers, but so did loyalty, earned through a balance of strength and leniency. He built no grand monuments to himself, yet his presence was felt in every corner of the empire, from the markets of Babylon to the olive groves of Ionia. His death, around 530 BCE, came on a distant campaign against nomadic tribes in the east. The details are murky. Some say he fell in battle, others that he died of wounds later. His body was carried back to Pasargadae, where his tomb still stands, a simple stone structure surrounded by the silence of the plains. Unlike the lavish palaces of later kings, it speaks of a man who needed no ostentation to prove his greatness. The inscription, now faded, is said to have read, "I am Cyrus, who gave the Persians their empire." Nothing more was needed. As we leave Cyrus's story, let us turn to a city that rose under his successors, a place where ambition was carved in stone. Persepolis, the heart of the Achaemenid Empire, awaits a city of splendor, secrets, and ruins that whisper of a world lost to time. Imagine yourself standing on a vast terrace, the air warm with the scent of cedar and stone dust. Before you stretches Persepolis, the ceremonial heart of the Achaemenid Empire, its columns rising like silent sentinels against a sky painted with the hues of dawn. This city, built under Darius I and his successors, was a testament to the empire's might, a place where kings received tribute and artisans carved dreams into stone. Yet its story is one of creation and destruction. Its secrets, buried for centuries until shovels and brushes brought them back to light. Let the rhythm of this ancient place guide you as we wander through its halls, its ruins, and the mysteries they hold. Persepolis was not the empire's administrative capitals. Susa and Ecbatana served that purpose, but it was its soul. Begun around 518 BCE, the city was Darius's vision of grandeur, a stage for the great king to display his power to a sprawling empire. Picture the terrace itself, a massive platform carved into the foothills of the Zagros Mountains, its stone walls smoothed by countless hands. You ascend a grand staircase, its steps wide and shallow, designed to allow dignitaries to climb with dignity, their robes trailing behind them. The stone is cool beneath your feet, polished to a soft sheen, reflecting the sun's golden light dot at the top. The gate of all nations greets you, its towering columns topped with carvings of mythical beast-winged bulls with human heads, their eyes serene yet watchful. This was the entrance for envoys from across the empire, from the linen-clad Greeks to the turbaned Bactrians, each bearing gifts of gold, ivory, or incense. As you pass through, the air hums with the memory of their footsteps, the faint clink of jewelry, the murmur of languages blending into a quiet chorus. The gate's inscription, carved in cuneiform, declares Darius's dominion over all lands. A claim echoed in the city's very stones. Beyond lies the Apadana, the great audience hall, its roof once supported by 72 columns, each soaring 60 feet high. Only a few stand now, their fluted surfaces weathered but proud. Imagine the hall in its prime, its cedar beams fragrant, its walls adorned with glazed bricks in blues and golds. The reliefs along the Apadana staircases tell stories of the empire's reach. Rows of tribute bearers, their faces calm, carry jars of wine, bolts of cloth, even a lioness with cubs. These images were not mere decoration, but a message to rule the world united, not by force alone, but by the rhythm of mutual obligation. Life in Persepolis was a blend of ceremony and labor. Artisans from across the empire, Ionians, Egyptians, Babylonians, worked side by side, their chisels and hammers shaping stone into art. You can almost hear the steady tap of their tools, the low hum of their voices as they shared stories of distant homes. Their wages, recorded on clay tablets, included barley, wine, and sheep, a testament to the empire's meticulous bureaucracy. Women, too, worked here, weaving textiles or managing households, their contributions etched into the same records. The city was a living mosaic, its pulse steady but vibrant. Yet Persepolis was not immune to the empire's tensions. The construction drained resources, and workers sometimes toiled under harsh conditions, their lives bound to the king's ambition. Rebellions simmered in distant provinces, and the city's grandeur was a reminder of the taxes that fueled it. Still, the kings poured their wealth into its halls, from the treasury, where gold and silver piled high, to the hall of 100 columns, where councils met under flickering torchlight. The air was thick with the scent of myrrh and the weight of expectation. That then came the fire. In 330 BCE, Alexander the Great swept into Persepolis, his army flush with victory. The story of its destruction is murkisome. Say Alexander burned the city in a drunken rage. Others that it was a calculated act to signal the end of Achaemenid rule. Imagine the flames licking at cedar roofs, the crackle of collapsing beams, the acrid smoke curling into the night. The treasury was looted, its riches scattered, and the palace halls fell silent. Lives were lost in the chaos, though the stones do not speak of their suffering. The city, once a beacon, became a ruin, its glory buried under ash and sand. For centuries, Persepolis slept, its columns toppled, its reliefs worn by wind and rain. Goatherds wandered its terraces, unaware of the empire that once thrived there. It was not until the 1930s that archaeologists, led by Ernst Hersfeld, began to uncover its secrets. Shovels broke through earth to reveal the Apadana staircases, their carvings startlingly vivid. Clay tablets emerged, detailing everything from workers' rations to royal decrees. Each find was a whisper from the past, a glimpse into a world of order and ambition. The lioness on the reliefs, her cubs at her side, seemed to gaze across time, her expression unchanged. Today, Persepolis is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its stones a silent testament to a lost empire. Archaeologists still puzzle over its purpose. Was it purely ceremonial, or did it serve a deeper political role? The reliefs offer clues, showing a king who ruled, not just by might, but by diplomacy. A world where tribute was a ritual of unity. Yet mysteries remain. Why did Alexander burn it? Was it vengeance, strategy, or something else? The stones hold no answers, only the weight of their silence. As we leave Persepolis behind, let us turn to the lives of those who guarded the empire's heart. The immortals, the elite royal guard, lived in the shadow of the great king, their world one of silk, gold, and unyielding duty. Their story awaits, a tale of discipline and splendor that shaped the empire's core. Picture yourself in the cool shade of a palace courtyard, the air heavy with the scent of saffron and roasted lamb. You are among the immortals, the elite royal guard of the Persian Empire. Men whose lives were woven with discipline, honor, and the glitter of royal favor. These warriors, 10,000 strong, were the backbone of the Achaemenid king's power, their presence a constant reminder of the empire's might. Yet their world was not only one of steel and loyalty, but also of silks, gold, and the intricate protocols of the court. Let the steady rhythm of their days draw you in, as we explore the lives of these men who stood in the shadow of the great king. The immortals, as named by Herodotus, were a select corps, their number always fixed at 10,000. When one fell weather, to battle illness or age, another was chosen to take his place, ensuring the unit's strength never wavered. Imagine yourself among them, your armor gleaming with bronze and leather, a spear in one hand, a bow slung across your back. Your cloak, dyed in the rich purples and reds of the court, catches the breeze, but its weight reminds you of your duty. You are not merely a soldier but a symbol, a living extension of the king's authority. Your day begins at dawn, the palace stirring with the soft clatter of servants and the distant lowing of livestock. Training is relentless, conducted in the open fields beyond Persepolis or Susa. You run drills under the watchful eyes of commanders, your muscles straining as you practice archery, spear thrusts, and mounted maneuvers. The air is sharp with the tang of sweat and dust, but precision is everything. The immortals were famed for their discipline, their ranks moving as one, their arrows loosed with deadly accuracy. You learn to fire from horseback, your body swaying with the rhythm of the gallop, your arrows finding targets even at full speed. Yet life, as an immortal, is not all hardship. The king rewards his guard with privileges few others enjoy. Picture a banquet in the Apadana, the great hall we visited earlier. You sit at long tables, the air rich with the aroma of spiced meats, pomegranates, and fresh-baked bread. Silver goblets gleam in the torchlight, filled with wine from the vineyards of Shiraz. The king himself might dine nearby, his throne elevated, his presence a quiet command. You eat well-roast lamb, lentils simmered with herbs, and dates sweetened with honey, but you remain alert, your spear never far from reach. Even in moments of ease, duty lingers like a shadow. Your armor and weapons are works of art, crafted by the empire's finest smiths. Your breastplate, embossed with intricate patterns, catches the light as you stand guard at the palace gates. Your bow, made of horn and sinew, is a marvel of engineering, capable of piercing armor at 200 paces. Gold ornaments adorn your belt, a gift from the king, but they are not mere decoration. They mark your status, your place among the elite. Yet these treasures come with a price. The weight of expectation is heavy, and failure is unthinkable. A single lapse in vigilance could cost you your place or your life. The immortal's role extends beyond the battlefield. You accompany the king on his travels, from the cool highlands of Ecbatana to the bustling streets of Babylon. You stand guard during councils, your presence a silent deterrent to rebellion. The court is a world of protocol, where every gesture matters. You learn to bow at the precise angle, to speak only when addressed, to move with the grace expected of the king's chosen. The air hums with whispered intrigue satraps, vying for favor, envoys bearing veiled threats, but you remain impassive. Your face, a mask of loyalty. Battle, when it comes, is a test of all you've trained for. Imagine the chaos of a battlefield, the air thick with the dust of charging horses and the cries of men. The immortals form the core of the army, their ranks unbreakable, their spears a wall of bronze. Against the Greeks at Thermopylae or Plataea, you face hoplites whose heavy armor contrasts with your lighter, more mobile gear. The clash is fierce, but the outcome is not always victory. The empire's reach strains against determined foes, and some of your comrades fall, their places swiftly filled to maintain the sacred number. The aftermath is somber lives lost, their memory honored in quiet rituals. Though the king's scribes record only the glory, not the cost, away from the battlefield, your life is one of contrast. The palace offers luxuries, soft cushions, perfumed oils, the music of lyres, but also isolation. You are set apart from ordinary soldiers, your loyalty bound to the king alone. You have no family nearby, for service demands your full devotion. Yet there are moments of camaraderie, shared meals by the fire, stories of distant campaigns, the clink of cups raised in quiet toasts. These bonds are your anchor, grounding you in a life of constant vigilance. The immortal's world was one of splendor and sacrifice, a mirror of the empire itself. You were both warrior and courtier, your days a balance of discipline and privilege. As we leave their ranks, let us reflect on the empire they served, a world of messengers racing across deserts, a king who united nations, a city burned but never forgotten. The past fades, but its echoes linger, a gentle reminder of lives lived long ago. As we draw this journey to a close, imagine yourself resting under a starlit sky, the air cool and quiet. The Persian Empire, with its roads, kings, cities, and warriors, feels both distant and near, its stories woven into the fabric of time. The messenger's hoofbeats, Cyrus's vision, Persepolis' stones, and the immortal's vigilance all shaped a world that, though gone, still speaks to us. Their struggles and triumphs, their routines and rituals, remind us of the human thread that binds past to present. As you lie here, let the weight of their lives slip away, replaced by the comfort of your own. The empire has faded, but you are here, safe in the present, ready to drift into the soft embrace of sleep. Good night. Imagine yourself nestled in the quiet of your room, the world softening into a gentle hush. Tonight, we're journeying to the heart of the Inca Empire, high in the Andes, where the air is thin and the mountains cradle a civilization of stone and sky. This is a tale of Cusco, the sacred city, where lives were shaped by labor, ritual, and the weight of empire. Picture terraced fields clinging to steep slopes, a king betrayed by strangers, a hidden city of perfect stone, and a court where divine rulers feasted under starlight. Let the steady rhythm of this story carry you as we wander through the lives of peasants, the fall of a leader, the mysteries of a sacred place, and the splendor of an emperor's table. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let the Andes unfold around. You picture yourself standing on a terraced hillside, the air sharp and thin, carrying the scent of damp earth and quinoa stalks. You are an Ayllu peasant in Cusco, the beating heart of the Inca Empire, around the early 16th century. Your life is bound to the land, the community, and the will of the Sapa Inca, the divine emperor whose rule reaches across mountains and valleys. The Andes are both your home and your taskmaster, their steep slopes and high altitude shaping every moment of your existence. The rhythm of your life is one of labor, woven into the fabric of an empire that thrives on your sweat and devotion. Cuzco sits at 11,000 feet above sea level, where each breath feels like a quiet effort. The city is a marvel, its stone walls fitted so precisely that not even a blade of grass slips between them. But you, a member of an Alua kinship-based community, rarely linger in the city's sacred center. Your world is the fields and villages on its outskirts, where terraced slopes climb the mountains like steps to the heavens. You rise before dawn, the chill biting your fingers as you pull a woolen cloak tight. The air smells of frost and the faint smoke of communal fires, where maize and potatoes cook slowly over glowing embers. Your days are filled with farming, the backbone of Inca life. You tend to fields of quinoa, maize, and potatoes, crops suited to the harsh altitude. The terraces, built by your ancestors, are marvels of engineering, their stone walls holding precious soil in place. You dig with a foot plow, a wooden tool sharpened at the tip, your back bending under the weight of repetition. The earth is stubborn, yielding only with effort, and the thin air leaves you breathless by midday. Irrigation channels, fed by mountain streams, hum softly as water trickles through, a lifeline for your crops. You pause to chew coca leaves, their bitterness easing your fatigue, a small gift from the land. Labor is not just survival, it is your duty to the empire. The Inca system of mita demands your service, a labor tax that binds every Ayllu to the state. You might spend weeks building roads, those winding paths that stretch across the empire, connecting Cusco to distant lands. Unlike the Persian royal road we explored in another tale, the Inca roads know no wheels. Every step is taken on foot, every load carried on human backs or by llamas. You haul stones, tamp earth, or repair bridges of woven grass that sway over rushing rivers. The work is grueling, your hands calloused, your shoulders aching from carrying burdens under the sun's unyielding gaze. When not on the roads, you might be summoned to construct storehouses or temples, their massive stones quarried from distant mountains. You work alongside your Ayllu, the rhythm of chants and work songs keeping time as you drag boulders into place. The Inca's engineering is precise, but the labor is relentless. You sleep in temporary shelters, the nights cold and star-filled. Your meals, simple dried potatoes, called chuno, and maize porridge. The empire feeds you, but sparingly, ensuring you return to your fields when your mita is complete. Weaving is another thread in your life's pattern. If you are a woman, you spend hours at a backstrap loom, your fingers coaxing alpaca wool into cloth dyed with cochineal reds and indigo blues. Every household produces textiles, not just for use, but as tribute to the Sapa Inca. Your finest work might adorn a noble or be stored in royal warehouses, a symbol of your Ayllu's loyalty. The loom's steady clack is a constant in your home, blending with the laughter of children and the crackle of a hearth fire. Yet even this labor is taxed. Your cloth, like your crops, belongs partly to the empire. the Inca's rigid social structure shapes your world. You are a Hatin ruler, a commoner, distinct from the nobles who glide through Cusco's streets in fine tunics. Your life is governed by the Alu's collective needs and the empire's demands. Marriage ties you to another family, strengthening the community. And your children learn your tasks early, their small hands planting seeds or herding llamas. The empire's bureaucracy tracks your work, your harvests, even your family, through the quipu knotted cords that record everything from taxes to census data. You never see the quipu's full meaning, but you feel its weight in every task assigned. Life is not without joy. Festivals punctuate the year, moments when you gather with your ilu to honor Inti, the sun god, or Pachamama, the earth mother. You drink chicha, a fermented maize beer, its tang sharp on your tongue, and dance to the beat of drums and flutes. These moments are fleeting though, for the land and the empire always call you back. The altitude, the labor, the constant demands, they wear on you, body and soul. Yet this is the rhythm of your life, a cycle of planting, weaving, building, and serving, all under the watchful peaks of the Andes. As we leave the terraces of Cusco behind, let us turn to a moment that shattered this world. The arrival of strangers from across the sea brought a king to his knees, marking the end of an empire. The story of Atahualpa, the last Sapa Inca, awaits a tale of betrayal and loss that echoes through the stones of Cusco. Imagine yourself standing in the bustling plaza of Cajamarca, the air crisp with the chill of a November morning in 1532. The Andes loom around you, their peaks dusted with frost, while the scent of wood smoke and roasted maize drifts from nearby homes. You are in the presence of Atahualpa, the Sapa Inca, the divine ruler whose word is law across the Inca Empire. His reign, though, is about to collide with strangers from a distant world, men in steel, riding beasts unknown to your land. The story of Atahualpa's fall is one of ambition, betrayal, and the unraveling of an empire, a moment where the rhythm of Inca life faltered under the weight of conquest. Let this tale unfold gently, carrying you through a pivotal chapter in the Andes' history. Atahualpa had only recently claimed the throne, his path to power marked by a bitter civil war. The Inca Empire, at its height, stretched from modern-day Colombia to Chile, a vast network of roads and cities bound by the Sapa Inca's divine authority. But the death of Huayna Capac, Atahualpa's father, around 1527, left the empire divided. Smallpox, carried from distant lands, swept through the Andes, claiming the emperor and leaving his sons Atahualpa and Huascar to vie for control. You can picture Atahualpa, his face stern, adorned in fine vicuna wool and gold, rallying his loyal generals in the northern highlands of Quito. His brother, Huascar, held Cusco, the empire's heart, but Atahualpa's military prowess proved decisive. By 1532, after years of conflict, he defeated Huascar, his armies marching south to claim the throne. Yet victory brought no peace. Word reached Atahualpa of strange men bearded, clad in shining metal, riding creatures like giant llamas. These were the Spanish, led by Francisco Pizarro, a band of fewer than 200 men driven by tales of gold. Atahualpa, encamped in Cajamarca, chose to meet them, curious about these outsiders who dared approach the son of the sun. Imagine the scene. Atahualpa carried on a golden litter, surrounded by thousands of warriors in checkered tunics, their slings and clubs at the ready. The plaza is alive with the hum of anticipation, the air thick with the scent of coca leaves and ceremonial incense. On November 16, 1532, the encounter began. Pizarro sent a priest, Vicente de Valverde, to meet Atahualpa, offering a Bible and demanding submission to a foreign king and god. Atahualpa, unaccustomed to such audacity, examined the book. Its pages meaningless to a culture without writing. He tossed it aside, a gesture of defiance or perhaps indifference. The Spanish, interpreting this as blasphemy, unleashed chaos. Hidden in the plaza's buildings, they fired cannons and charged on horseback, their steel swords glinting in the sunlight. The Inca warriors, unprepared for such weapons, fell in droves, their cotton armor no match for blades, the air filled with the cries of the fallen and the thunder of hooves, a sound alien to the Andes. Atahualpa was seized, his litter toppled, his attendants cut down around him. The Spanish, though vastly outnumbered, used surprise and terror to their advantage. The battle, if it can be called that, was brief. its aftermath a grim tableau of lives lost in the plaza's dust. Atahualpa, now a captive, sat in a stone chamber, his royal ornaments stripped away, his world reduced to the clank of chains. Yet he remained composed, a ruler even in defeat. He observed his captors, noting their greed for the gold that adorned his court. In a desperate bid for freedom, he offered a ransom that would become legend, a room filled once with gold and twice with silver. For months, the Inca Empire mobilized to fulfill this demand. Picture caravans of llamas winding through mountain passes, their backs laden with golden plates, statues, and jewelry. From Cusco to Quito, storehouses were emptied, temples stripped of their sacred ornaments. The air in Cajamarca grew heavy with the metallic tang of treasure, as porters stacked gold higher than a man's head. The Spanish, awestruck, melted much of it into ingots, erasing centuries of craftsmanship. Yet even this ransom could not save Atahualpa. Pizarro, fearing rebellion or distrusting the Inca's promises, decided his fate. In July 1533, after a mock trial, Atahualpa was sentenced to death. The execution was a quiet affair, far from the grandeur of his court. Atahualpa offered a choice between burning or strangulation if he converted to Christianity. Chose the latter. Under a darkening sky, his life was taken, the cord tightening as the Andes stood silent. The empire reeled without its divine ruler, the chain of authority frayed. The Spanish pressed their advantage, marching on Cusco, while resistance flickered under leaders like Manco Inca. But the fall of Atahualpa marked a turning point, the moment when the Inca world began to crumble under foreign boots. His death left echoes beyond the Andes. The gold of his ransom fueled Spain's ambitions, while the Inca's loss reshaped a continent. Yet Atahualpa's story is not just one of defeat, it is a reminder of a ruler who faced the unknown with dignity, navigating a world that shifted beneath him. As we leave Cajamarca's plaza, let us turn to a place that embodies the Inca's enduring mystery. Machu Picchu, hidden in the clouds, awaits a city of stone and secrets, its purpose still whispered in the wind. Imagine yourself high in the Andes, where clouds drift like soft veils over jagged peaks. The air is cool, carrying the scent of moss and damp stone, as you stand before Machu Picchu, a city cradled between two mountains, its stones whispering secrets of the Inca world. Built in the 15th century, perhaps during the reign of Pachacati, this site is a marvel of precision and mystery, its purpose still elusive centuries later. Its terraces and temples align with the stars, the sun, and the sacred peaks around it, a testament to the Inca's reverence for the cosmos. Let the quiet rhythm of this place guide you, as we explore its layout, its spiritual symmetry, and the questions that linger in its silent stones. Machu Picchu sits at 7,970 feet, lower than Cusco but still dizzying, perched on a saddle between Machu Picchu Mountain and Huayna Picchu. Picture yourself approaching along a narrow trail, the Inca road winding through mist and forest, its stone steps worn smooth by countless feet. The city emerges slowly, its grey granite walls blending with the landscape, as if grown from the earth itself. The stones, cut with such precision that they fit without mortar, gleam softly in the morning light. You run your hand over their cool surfaces, feeling the faint texture of ancient tools, a reminder of the hands that shaped them. The city's layout is a study in balance, divided into two main sectors, the agricultural and the urban. The terraces, cascading down the slopes, are the first to greet you. These are not mere fields, but feats of engineering, their stone walls holding rich soil brought from distant valleys. Imagine the sound of water trickling through irrigation channels, a gentle hum that sustained crops of maize and potatoes. The terraces mirror the Andes contours, their curves a dialogue with the mountains. Farmers once worked here, their voices blending with the wind, their labor ensuring the city's survival in this remote haven. Beyond the terraces lies the urban sector, a maze of plazas, temples, and homes. You wander through the sacred plaza, where the Temple of the Sun stands, its curved wall embracing a carved rock altar. On the solstice, sunlight streams through a window, bathing the altar in golden moment the Inca planned with meticulous care. The temple's stones are polished to a mirror-like sheen, a contrast to the rugged cliffs beyond. Nearby, the Intihuatana stone, the hitching post of the sun, stands like a quiet sentinel. Priests used it to track the seasons, their rituals tying the city to the heavens. You can almost hear their soft chants, the rustle of coca leaves, offered to the gods. The city's design reflects the Incas' sacred geometry, a worldview where mountains, rivers, and stars were divine. The layout mimics the shape of a condor. Some say its wings spread across the ridges. Huayna Picchu, looming to the north, was a sacred peak, its trails used for rituals or defense. The city's orientation aligns with cardinal directions and celestial events, a map of the cosmos carved in stone. Every building, from the Temple of the Three Windows to the modest homes of workers, seems placed with purpose, as if the city itself were a prayer to Inti, the sun god, or the Earth Mother. Yet Machu Picchu's purpose remains a mystery. Was it a royal estate for Pachacati, a retreat for the elite, a sacred site for priests and astronomers, or perhaps a refuge, hidden from enemies? Its small-size housing, perhaps 500 to 1,000 people, suggests exclusivity. Yet its granaries and terraces imply self-sufficiency. The absence of written records leaves us with only the stones to speak. Archaeologists, beginning with Hiram Bingham's rediscovery in 1911, have uncovered clues, polished tools, pottery, even human remains, carefully buried, but no definitive answer emerges. The city was abandoned before the Spanish arrived, its people vanishing into the mountains, leaving only silence. The construction of Machu Picchu was a triumph of human effort. Workers quarried granite from nearby cliffs, dragging stones up slopes with ropes and levers. You can imagine the steady rhythm of their labor, the clink of chisels, the creak of ropes, the shared meals of chicha and roasted guinea pig under starlit skies. The Incas' engineering genius is evident in the drainage system. Channels carved to carry rainwater away, preserving the city against the Andes' torrential rains. Even today, the stones stand firm, untouched by earthquakes. That of toppled modern structures. The mystery deepens with the site's isolation. Why build so high, so hidden? Some believe it was a spiritual retreat, its remoteness fostering communion with the divine. Others see it as a strategic outpost, its heights offering a view of approaching threats. The skeletal remains found here, many belonging to women, hint at a diverse population, perhaps priestesses or weavers, though their stories are lost. The city's abandonment adds another layer of enigma. Was it disease, drought, or internal strife? The Spanish never found it, and the jungle reclaimed it. Vines curling over stones until Bingham's team cleared them away. Today, Machu Picchu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its stones a pilgrimage for those seeking the Incas' legacy. Yet its heart remains elusive, a puzzle of geometry and faith. As you stand in its plazas, the wind carries the faint echo of flutes, the memory of rituals long past. The city is a reminder of a people who saw the divine in every peak and star, who built a world that still captivates our imagination. As we leave Machu Picchu's heights, let us descend to the opulent world of Cusco's elite. The court of the Sapa Inca awaits, a place of feasting, ritual, and divine rule, where the empire's splendor shone brightest. Imagine yourself stepping into the grand plaza of Cusco, the heart of the Inca Empire, where the air is rich with the scent of roasted guinea pig and burning incense. The year is the early 16th century, and you are a guest at the court of the Sapa Inca, the divine emperor, whose presence radiates like the sun he claims as his ancestor. Here, in the shadow of stone palaces, the elite live a life of splendor, ritual, and rigid protocol, far removed from the terraced fields of the Alu peasants. The court is a world of velvet-clad astronomers, coca leaf ceremonies, and feasts that honor both gods and men. Let the gentle rhythm of this opulent life draw you in. As we explore the world of the Inca's divine ruler and his chosen few, the Sapa Inca's court is centered in Cusco's Coricancha, the Temple of the Sun. Its walls once lined with sheets of gold that gleam in the morning light. You stand in a courtyard, its stones polished to a mirror-like sheen, surrounded by nobles in fine tunics woven from vicuna wool, softer than any cloth you've known. The air hums with the soft clink of golden ornaments and the murmur of Quechua, the language of the empire. The Sapa Inca himself, carried on a litter adorned with feathers and emeralds, is a figure of awe, his face serene, his eyes distant. He is not merely a king, but a god, the son of Inti, and every gesture is steeped in divine significance. Life at court revolves around ritual and feasting, a display of the empire's wealth and order. Picture a banquet in the great hall, where long tables are laden with clay vessels filled with chitsa, the fermented maize beer that flows like a river. The scent of roasted guinea pig, called kai, mingles with maize cakes and stews of quinoa and chili. Servants move silently, their heads bowed, offering plates of amaranth and dried fish from distant lakes. You chew coca leaves, their bitterness, a sacred gift, shared in ceremonies to honor the gods or seal alliances. The leaves are presented in woven pouches, a privilege reserved for the elite. There use a bridge to the divine. The court's rhythm is dictated by the Sapa Inca's divine role. Each day begins with offerings to Inti, the sun god. You watch as priests, clad in white, burn coca and maize in small braziers, their chants rising like smoke. The Sapa Inca, seated on a golden stool, presides over these rituals, his presence tying the empire to the cosmos. Astronomers, revered as sages, track the stars from stone observatories, their calculations guiding planting seasons and festivals. You can almost hear the soft scratch of their quipu chords, knotted to record celestial patterns, a silent language of numbers and time. The elite live in a world apart, their homes built of interlocking stones, their floors warmed by woven rugs. Nobles, known as curakas, wear tunics dyed in vibrant reds and blues, their ears stretched with golden plugs that mark their status. Women of the court, often the Sapa Inca's sisters or wives, weave exquisite textiles or oversee households, their authority subtle but profound. The Akla, chosen women dedicated to the sun, live in seclusion, crafting fine cloth or preparing for sacred rites. Their lives are disciplined, their hands always busy, their world a blend of devotion and duty. Yet even this splendor has its burdens. The Sapa Inca's divinity isolates him only, his closest kin may touch him, and his meals are served with rigid ceremony. His court is a web of alliances, where loyalty is tested by whispers of rebellion or rival heirs. The empire's wealth, drawn from the labor of peasants like those we met earlier, flows into Cusco's storehouses. But it comes with expectations. Nobles must govern provinces, lead armies, or oversee mitre labor, their lives bound to the empire's needs. The air is thick with the weight of protocol, every word and gesture measured to maintain harmony. Festivals punctuate this world, moments when the court's opulence shines. During Inti Raymi, the festival of the sun, Cusco becomes a stage for music and dance. You hear the deep pulse of drums, the wail of flutes, as dancers in feathered cloaks move in perfect unison. The Sapa Inca offers gold to the gods, his hands raised to the sky, while the crowd sways, intoxicated by chicha and devotion. These moments bind the elite to the commoners, a rare bridge across the empire's rigid castes. Though the peasants watch from the edges, their own lives far humbler. The court's wealth is staggering, yet it rests on the empire's fragile balance. Storehouses overflow with maize, potatoes, and textiles, but drought or rebellion could disrupt the flow. The Spanish, as we saw with Atahualpa, would later exploit this wealth, their greed toppling a system built on centuries of order. For now, though, the court is a world of divine harmony. Its feasts and rituals a testament to the Sapa Inca's power. You sit among the elite, the taste of chicha lingering, the stars above Cusco, a reminder of the gods who watch over all. As we draw this journey to a close, imagine yourself resting beneath the Andean sky, its stars, a silent map of the Inca world, Cusco's terraces, Atahualpa's fall, Machu Picchu's stones, and the Sapa Inca's court weave a story of labor, loss, and divine splendor. The empire rose from the Andes' rugged embrace, its people bound by duty and faith, their lives a rhythm of planting, building, and worship. Yet their world, so carefully balanced, slipped away under the weight of conquest. As you lie here, let the echoes of their lives fade, replaced by the quiet comfort of your own time. The Andes stand still, but you are here, safe in the present, ready to drift into the gentle arms of sleep. Good night. Imagine yourself nestled in the quiet comfort of your room, the world outside fading into a gentle hum. Tonight, we're stepping onto the ancient Silk Road, a vast web of trails stretching across deserts, mountains, and steppes, connecting empires and dreams. This is a journey through time, where the creak of camel saddles and the whisper of shifting sands carry you to an era of merchants, monks, and messengers. Picture yourself amid endless dunes, following a monk's quest for wisdom, uncovering mummies frozen in time, and arriving at a glittering city of trade. Let the steady rhythm of this tale guide you, as we wander through the grueling lives of nomads, the devotion of a traveler, the secrets of ancient graves, and the splendor of a royal caravan. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let the Silk Road unfold around you. Picture yourself swaying atop a Bactrian camel, its coarse hair brushing your hands as you grip the reins. The air is thick with the scent of dust and animal sweat, the horizon a shimmering blur of sand and sky. You are a nomad on the Silk Road, a merchant or herder in the 7th century, traversing a network of routes that stretch from China to the Mediterranean. This is no single road but a maze of paths across the Taklamakan Desert, the Pamir Mountains, and the Central Asian steppes, linking cities like Chang'an, Samarkand, and Damascus. The Silk Road is a marvel of human endurance, but for you, it is a crucible of survival, where every step tests the rhythm of your life. Your journey begins in a caravan, a chain of camels laden with silk, spices, or furs, their bells jingling softly in the dawn. You travel in a group for safety, perhaps 20 or 30 strong, with guides who know the desert's secrets. The Taklamakan, whose name means go in, don't come out, looms ahead, its dunes stretching like frozen waves. Daytime heat bakes the sand, scorching your feet through worn leather sandals, while nights plunge into bone-chilling cold, your breath visible under a starlit sky. You wrap yourself in a woolen cloak, its fibers stiff with dust, and huddle near a fire of dried dung, its acrid smoke stinging your eyes. Food is a constant concern. Your pack holds dried cheese, hard as stone and sharp with age, alongside flatbread baked weeks ago. You chew slowly, the taste bitter, washing it down with water from a goatskin bag, its contents warm and faintly earthy. Fresh provisions are rare, perhaps a handful of dates or dried apricots traded at an oasis, where palms offer fleeting shade and water tastes of minerals. Your camels, vital to your survival, graze on thorny shrubs, their humps shrinking as the journey wears on. You check their hooves for cracks, knowing a lame animal could spell disaster. The road is fraught with dangers. Sandstorms arise without warning, the air turning to a howling wall of grit that blinds you and buries supplies. You tie a cloth over your face, the fabric caked with sand, and tether the camels to keep them from bolting. Bandits are a constant threat, their shadows flitting along distant ridges. These raiders, often nomadic tribes themselves, strike for silk or silver, leaving chaos in their wake. You carry a curved dagger, its hilt worn smooth, but it's little comfort against a band of horsemen. The caravan's guards, armed with bows, keep watch, but their vigilance cannot always protect you. The terrain itself is an adversary. Crossing the Pamir Mountains, known as the roof of the world, you navigate narrow paths where a single misstep could send you plummeting into a ravine. The air is thin, each breath a quiet struggle, and snow dusts the peaks even in summer. Your camels slip on icy stones, their grunts echoing in the silence. Frostbite threatens your fingers. Wrapped tightly around the reins, and altitude dulls your thoughts. Yet you press on, driven by the promise of trade silk for glass, spices for horses in cities that feel like distant dreams. Disease stalks the road as surely as bandits. Water from stagnant pools carries sickness, and a fever could leave you shivering in your tent, far from help. You hear tales of entire caravans lost to illness, their goods scattered across the dunes. Parasites from camel hides or tainted food gnaw at your strength, and remedies are scarce, perhaps a bitter herb traded from a passing monk. The rhythm of your life is one of endurance, each day a cycle of packing, walking, unpacking, and watching the horizon for threats. Yet there are moments of quiet beauty. At an oasis, the air softens with the scent of blooming tamarisk, and children from a nearby village offer bowls of fermented mare's milk. You trade stories with fellow travelers, Sogdian merchants, Buddhist monks, Persian traders, each voice adding to the Silk Road's tapestry. The stars above the desert are a map of their own, guiding you when landmarks fail. You learn the routes by heart, the Jade Gate out of China, the markets of Kashgar, the long descent to Samarkand. The road is your world, its dangers and wonders, shaping your days. The Silk Road's trade binds empires, but it is built on your toil. You are a fleeting figure, your name unrecorded, yet your journey carries silk to Rome, ideas to China, and faith across mountains. As we leave the desert's endless trails, let us follow a man who walked these paths, not for profit, but for wisdom. Xuanzang, the Tang monk, awaits a traveler whose quest for Buddhist scriptures reshaped a nation's soul. Imagine yourself walking a dusty trail, the air warm with the scent of dry grass and distant jasmine. It is the early 7th century, and you are in the company of Xuanzang, a Buddhist monk from the Tang dynasty, whose quest for sacred scriptures will carry him across 10,000 miles of the Silk Road. His journey, begun in 629 CE, is one of devotion, endurance, and quiet determination. A pilgrimage that not only shaped China's religious landscape, but inspired legends that echo through time. Let the steady rhythm of his footsteps guide you, as we trace his path from Chang'an to India, through deserts, mountains, and kingdoms long forgotten. Xuanzang was born in Henan, China, around 602 CE, into a world where Buddhism was taking root but lacked its deepest texts. A scholar from youth, he entered a monastery, his days filled with the soft chant of sutras and the flicker of oil lamps. Yet he yearned for the original teachings of the Buddha, preserved in India. The faith's birthplace, the Tang Emperor Taizong, forbade foreign travel, fearing spies or rebellion, but Xuanzang's resolve was unshakable. Picture him slipping out of Chang'an under cover of night, his robes simple, his pack light with only a few scrolls, a water gourd, and a heart full of purpose. His journey began along the Silk Road's eastern stretches, through the Gobi Desert's endless sands. The air was thick with dust, the sun relentless, and water scarce. You can imagine Xuanzang trudging forward, his sandals worn thin, his lips cracked from thirst. At times he traveled alone, guided by stars or the faint tracks of caravans. In one tale, he lost his way in the desert, his water gone, and knelt to pray, vowing to continue even if it meant his end. A cool breeze led him to an oasis, its waters sweet with the taste of survival, a moment he saw as divine. The Hexi Corridor, a narrow passage between mountains and desert, brought new trials. Bandits roamed the trails, and local rulers demanded tribute. Xuanzang, with no wealth to offer, relied on his wit and faith. In Turfan, a king named Ku Wenti, moved by the monk's sincerity, gifted him supplies, silks, horses, and guards to ensure his safety. The air in Turfan was heavy with the scent of grapes and baked clay, and Xuanzang paused to debate with local monks, his voice calm but firm, his knowledge winning respect. These encounters were his currency, forging alliances that carried him westward. Crossing the Tian Shan Mountains, Xuanzang faced biting winds and icy paths. Picture him wrapped in a woolen cloak, his breath clouding in the thin air. As he navigated passes where snow clung to the rocks, the Pamir Mountains followed, their peaks towering like silent gods. Here, he joined caravans, their camels laden with jade and incense, their bells a faint rhythm against the howling wind. The journey was grueling, his body worn by hunger and cold, yet his mind remained fixed on Nalanda, the great Buddhist university in India. After years of travel, Xuanzang reached India around 633 CE. His path, winding through kingdoms like Gandhara and Kashmir. In Nalanda, he found a city of learning, its monasteries alive with the hum of debate and the scent of sandalwood incense. He studied for years, mastering Sanskrit and collecting sutras texts that would illuminate China's understanding of Buddhism. Picture him seated cross-legged, copying scrolls by lamplight, his fingers stained with ink, the air soft with the murmur of monks. He debated scholars, his arguments precise, earning him reverence as a master in his own right. The return journey, begun around 643 CE, was no less arduous. Xuanzang carried hundreds of texts, statues, and relics. His caravan, a moving library guarded by Temps escorts. Crossing the Taklamakan Desert, he faced sandstorms that buried trails and threatened his precious cargo. In one pass, a landslide claimed lives the mountains, indifferent to his mission. Yet he pressed on, driven by the need to share his knowledge. The air grew cooler as he neared China, the scent of pine replacing desert dust, a sign of home after nearly 16 years. In 645 CE, Xuanzang returned to Chang'an, welcomed as a hero. Emperor Taizong, once his obstacle, now sought his counsel, impressed by his courage. Xuanzang spent his remaining years translating texts, his monastery filled with the scratch of brushes and the glow of lanterns. His translations, over 1,300 fascicles, brought new depth to Chinese Buddhism. shaping its philosophy for centuries. His journey inspired Journey to the West, a novel where he became the monk Tripitaka, a figure of legend accompanied by a monkey. King Xuanzang's life was a quiet triumph, a testament to faith over hardship. His footsteps along the Silk Road carried not just a man but ideas that crossed continents. As we leave his path, let us turn to a discovery that reveals the road's deeper secrets. The mummies of the Taklamakan Desert, preserved in its sands, await silent witnesses to forgotten lives and civilizations. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of the Taklamakan Desert, the air dry and sharp with the scent of ancient dust. The dunes stretch endlessly before you, their golden curves hiding secrets beneath the sands. It is here, in this unforgiving expanse along the Silk Road, that archaeologists uncovered the mummies of the Tarim Basin, bodies so perfectly preserved that their faces seem to sleep rather than decay. Dating from 1800 BCE to 200 CE, these remains, some with blonde hair and woven plaids, hint at forgotten civilizations that once thrived where caravans later tread. Let the quiet whispers of these ancient lives guide you as we explore their stories, their culture, and the mysteries they leave behind. The Taklamakan, in modern-day Xinjiang, China, is a desert of extremes, its name evoking the peril we met in the nomad's life. Its arid climate, with scant rain and relentless sun, creates a natural tomb, preserving flesh, hair, and cloth for millennia. Picture yourself at an excavation site, the air heavy with the faint taint of salt and earth, as brushes sweep away sand to reveal a figure wrapped in wool. The mummies, found in sites like Shaowei and Lulen, are not kings or warriors but ordinary people, herders, weavers, perhaps traders whose lives offer a window into a world before the Silk Road's peak. The most striking among them is the beauty of Lulen, a woman buried around 1800 BCE. Her face, served by the desert's dryness, is serene, her dark hair plaited, her skin taut over delicate features. She wears a woolen robe, its fibers dyed with plant hues, and a felt hat adorned with feathers. Nearby lies the Churchin man, a towering figure from around 1000 BCE, his blonde hair and beard framing a face that seems almost alive. His tunic, striped in red and yellow, clings to him, its patterns echoing textiles from distant Europe. These features, light hair, tall statures, suggest connections to peoples far from China, perhaps Indo-Europeans from the steppes. The mummies' preservation is a marvel. The desert's salt and aridity halted decay, leaving boots, baskets, and even bread intact. You can imagine the faint scent of dried herbs clinging to their belongings, a reminder of lives lived in harsh lands. Their graves, often simple pits lined with wood, contain tools, wooden combs, bronze knives, and offerings like millet or sheep bones. Some wear tattoos, faint spirals on their skin, hinting at rituals we can only guess at. The air around these finds feels heavy with time, each artifact a fragment of a forgotten rhythm. Who were these people? The mummies belonged to cultures like the Shaowei, predating the Silk Road's bustling trade. Linguistic clues, like the Tocharian language found in later texts, suggest they spoke an Indo-European tongue, unrelated to Chinese. Their textiles and twills mirror those of ancient Europe, hinting at migrations across the Eurasian steppes thousands of years ago. Some scholars propose they were herders, moving with flocks of sheep and goats, their lives tied to oases where tamarisk trees and reeds offered shelter. Others see them as early traders, their goods jade, wool, perhaps horses, laying the groundwork for the Silk Road's networks. Their lives were not easy. The desert's edge offered sparse grazing, and winters brought bitter cold, the air biting at exposed skin. You can picture a herder wrapped in a felt cloak, guiding goats to a spring, the water's edge crusted with ice. Their diet, pieced together from remains, included barley, millet, and dairy, with occasional meat from hunted deer or sacrificed animals. Disease was a quiet threat. Dental wear and bone stress hint at malnutrition, while some mummies show signs of tuberculosis, a shadow that followed crowded settlements. Yet their crafts speak of resilience. Intricately woven baskets, leather shoes stitched with care, and wooden carvings shaped by skilled hands. The mummies raise questions that linger like the desert wind. How did these people, with features so unlike their neighbors, reach the Tarim Basin? Were they part of a vast migration, or did they blend with local tribes over centuries? Their graves suggest reverence for the dead bodies carefully wrapped, Faces turn to the east, but their beliefs remain elusive. No grand temples or written records accompany them, only the silent testimony of their possessions. The desert preserved their bodies but hid their stories, leaving archaeologists to puzzle over each find. Excavations, beginning in the early 20th century with explorers like Sven Hedin and Aurel Stein, brought these mummies to light. Each dig, conducted under the desert's relentless sun, uncovered more: a child in a colorful shroud, a woman with a basket of grain, a man with a quiver of arrows. Modern science DNA analysis, radiocarbon dating has traced their origins, linking some to steppe peoples like the Yamnaya, thousands of miles away. Yet the mummies remain enigmatic. There lives a fleeting glimpse of a world before empires, when the Silk Road was merely a path trodden by herders and wanderers. That's we leave the desert's silent graves. Let us turn to a place where the Silk Road's wealth and ideas converged. Samarkand, the glittering capital of Timur's empire, awaits a city where royal caravans brought spices, ivory, and philosophers to a court of dazzling splendor. Imagine yourself standing in the bustling heart of Samarkand, the jewel of Timur's empire. In the late 14th century, the air is alive with the scent of saffron, roasted nuts, and the faint musk of camels as a royal caravan winds through the city's gates. Towering minarets and turquoise domes gleam under the Central Asian sun, their tiles catching the light like scattered jewels. This is the court of Timur, known as Tamerlane, a ruler whose conquests stretched from India to Anatolia, making Samarkand a crossroads of wealth, ideas, and cultures. Here, spices, ivory, chessboards, and philosophers mingle in a world of opulence and order. Let the gentle rhythm of this vibrant city draw you in, as we explore the lives of its elite and the splendor of a royal caravan's arrival. Samarkand, rebuilt by Timur in the 1370s, is a city of grandeur. Its Registan Square framed by madrasas and mosques that hum with activity. You stand at the city's edge, where the Zarafun River's waters irrigate fields of wheat and orchards of apricots. The caravan, a procession of camels, horses, and ox carts, stretches across the horizon, its banners fluttering in the breeze. The air carries the soft jingle of bells and the creak of wooden wheels, signaling the arrival of goods from distant lands: silk from China, ivory from India, amber from the Baltic. Merchants, clad in embroidered robes, shout orders, their voices blending with the calls of hawkers selling flatbread and kebabs. As the caravan enters, you follow it to the marketplace, a labyrinth of stalls where the air is thick with the aroma of cumin, cardamom, and dried roses. Traders unpack their wares, bolts of silk shimmering in crimson and gold, carved ivory combs, and chessboards inlaid with mother of pearl, their pieces shaped like miniature warriors. You pause at a stall offering manuscripts, their pages filled with Persian poetry or Arabic treatises on astronomy, the ink still fragrant with gum arabic. Philosophers and scholars, invited by Timur to his court, mingle here, their debates a soft murmur over the clink of coins. The market is a tapestry of voices: Sogdi in Persian, Turkic, each transaction a thread in the Silk Road's web. The elite of Samarkand live in a world apart, their lives shaped by Timur's patronage and the city's wealth. Picture a noble's courtyard, its walls adorned with glazed tiles in blues and greens, its air cooled by a bubbling fountain. You sit on silk cushions, sipping tea steeped with mint, as servants offer platters of pilaf, studded with raisins and lamb. The elite dress in brocaded tunics, their belts heavy with silver, their turbans pinned with emeralds. Women, veiled in gossamer silk, oversee households or patronize poets, their jewelry clinking softly as they move. The rhythm of their lives is one of luxury, yet it is bound by protocol. Every gesture, from a bow to a gift, carries meaning in Timur's court. Timur himself, though often absent on campaigns, casts a long shadow. His palace, the Bibi Mosque, looms over the city, its arches a testament to his ambition. You imagine him seated on a throne of gold, his face weathered but commanding, receiving envoys from the Mamluks or the Ming dynasty. His court is a stage for diplomacy, where gifts of horses, falcons, or jade seal alliances. Scholars like Alisher Navor, a poet and statesman, recite verses in his honor, their words weaving loyalty into art. The air is heavy with the scent of incense, burned to honor both Timur and the divine, a reminder of his claim to rule by heavens. Mandate. Life in the elite circles is not without its tensions. Timur's conquests, which filled Samarkand's coffers, left trails of devastation, cities sacked, lives lost in distant lands. The court's splendor rests on tribute and plunder, and nobles must navigate Timur's volatile temper. A misstep could mean exile or worse, though such fates are rarely spoken of openly. Instead, the elite focus on patronage, funding mosques, or gardens, their names carved into stone to outlast their lives. You hear the soft strumming of a lute, a melody composed for a wedding or a victory, blending with the call to prayer from a nearby minaret. The caravan's arrival sparks feasts that showcase Samarkand's wealth. Picture a banquet under a silk canopy, the tables laden with roasted pheasant, honeyed figs, and flatbreads dusted with sesame. Wine, forbidden in stricter courts, flows discreetly, its sweetness a nod to Persian tastes. Dancers in flowing robes move to the rhythm of drums, their steps precise, while jugglers toss painted balls, their motions a blur of color. The air hums with laughter and the clink of goblets, but guards in chainmail stand watch, their presence a reminder of the empire's strength. The caravan brings more than goods, it carries ideas. Buddhist monks from India debate with Muslim scholars, their voices calm but earnest, while Chinese artisans share techniques for porcelain or gunpowder. Chess, born in India and refined along the Silk Road, is a favorite pastime, its boards a microcosm of strategy and power. You watch a game unfold, the pieces carved from ivory and ebony, each move a quiet battle of wits. These exchanges, fostered by Timur's cosmopolitan court, make Samarkand a beacon of culture, its legacy enduring long after his death in 1405. As the caravan unloads its treasures, you sense the pulse of the Silk Road, its wealth, its diversity, its fragility. Samarkand thrives because of men like the nomads we met, whose toil brought goods to its gates, and monks like Xuanzang, whose quests carried wisdom across continents. The mummies of the Taklamakan remind us of the road's ancient roots, lives preserved in sand, while Samarkand's domes reflect its zenith. As we draw this journey to a close, imagine yourself resting under the vast Central Asian sky, its stars, a map of the Silk Road's endless paths, the nomad's struggles, Xuanzang's pilgrimage, the desert's silent mummies, and Samarkand's glittering courtweave, a story of endurance, faith, and connection. The Silk Road bound empires with threads of silk and spice, its travelers shaping a world that feels both distant and near. Their lives, marked by dust and dreams, fade into the quiet of history, but their echoes linger. As you lie here, let the weight of their journeys slip away, replaced by the soft comfort of your own time. The road stretches on, but you are here, safe in the present, ready to drift into the gentle embrace of sleep. Good night. Imagine yourself cocooned in the quiet warmth of your room, the world outside softening into a distant murmur. Tonight, we're setting sail into the frozen vastness of the 19th century Arctic, where icebound ships and hardy souls carved out a living amid endless cold and darkness. This is a journey through time, where the creak of wooden hulls and the tang of salt air carry you to an era of grit, loss, and discovery. Picture yourself aboard a whaling ship, tracing a doomed expedition, listening to ancient Inuit stories, and dining with Victorian explorers in gilded halls. Let the steady rhythm of this tale guide you as we wander through the lives of whalers, the mystery of a lost fleet, the wisdom of Arctic peoples, and the ambitions of an elite society. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let the icy north unfold. Around you, picture yourself standing on the deck of a wooden whaling ship, the Arctic wind biting at your face, carrying the sharp scent of salt and whale oil. It is the 1840s, and you are a crewman aboard a vessel bound for the Greenland or Baffin Bay whaling grounds, chasing the bowhead whale for its blubber and baleen. The ship, a sturdy bark of oak and pine, groans under the weight of ice clinging to its rigging, its sails stiff with frost. Life here is a grueling rhythm of labor, cold, and uncertainty, where the Arctic's beauty is matched only by its cruelty. For months, you are bound to this floating world, where survival is a daily task, and the sea holds no promises. Your day begins in the dim glow of a whale oil lamp, the air in the forecastle thick with the musty smell of damp wool and unwashed bodies. The bunks, cramped and lined with moldy straw, offer little rest after a night shivering beneath a thin blanket. The ship's hull creaks as ice presses against it, a low moan that never ceases. You pull on boots caked with grease, your fingers numb despite mittens patched with canvas. The deck is slick with sleet, and you steady yourself against the roll of the ship. The horizon, a blur of grey sea and white ice. Food is a trial of endurance. Breakfast might be a slab of salt pork, its surface slick with age, paired with hard biscuits that crunch like gravel and leave your gums sore. The ship's stores, packed months ago in ports like New Bedford or Hull, grow rancid in the damp hold. Potatoes sprout pale tendrils, and barrels of flower harbor weevils that skitter across the surface. Fresh water, stored in casks, tastes of wood and algae, and scurvy looms as fruit and vegetables dwindle. You chew dried apples when they're available, their leathery sweetness a faint reminder of land. The cook, working in a galley clouded with smoke, serves stews of questionable meat, the broth greasy and lukewarm. The work itself is relentless. When a whale is sighted its spout a fleeting plume against the sky, the crew springs to action. You clamber into a whaleboat, a fragile craft of cedar, and row through choppy seas, your oars dipping into water cold enough to seize your breath. The harpooner perched at the bow drives iron into the whale's flank, and the beast dives, dragging the boat in a Nantucket sleigh ride that tests your grip and nerve. Hours later, the whale surfaces, exhausted, and the lances finish the task. The sea clouded with life, fading into the depths. The air grows heavy with the metallic temps of blood, but you feel only the ache in your arms and the chill seeping through your unos. KINS. Back aboard, the real labor begins. You carve the whale's blubber in the sleet, your hands slippery with oil, your knife-nicking fingers too numb to feel the sting. The deck becomes a mire of grease and flesh, the air thick with the rancid stench of rendering fat and tripods, their fires casting an eerie glow. Blubber is boiled into oil, stored in barrels that line the hold, each one a measure of profit for the ship's owners, but not for you. Your pay, a share of the voyage's take, is meager, often eaten up by debts to the ship's outfitter. The baleen used for corsets and umbrellas is stacked carefully, its value far beyond your own. The Arctic's dangers are ever present. Ice floes can crush a ship, their edges grinding like teeth against the hull. You listen for the captain's orders to soar through ice or pole the ship free, your shoulders burning with effort. Storms whip the sea into towering waves, the mast swaying as you cling to frozen ropes. Fog blankets the horizon, hiding reefs or bergs that could tear the hull apart. Shipmates vanish swept overboard, crushed by ice, or lost to fever in the cramped sickber. The sea claims many, their names scratched into a log, their belongings shared among the crew. Yet there are moments of reprieve. On calm nights, the aurora borealis dances across the sky, its greens and purples a quiet wonder that stills the crew's chatter. You share stories with men from Nantucket, Norway, or the Azores, their accents blending over a pipe's faint glow. Songs, sea shanties, or hymns rise above the wind, their rhythm a comfort in the dark. The ship's dog, a scruffy mutt, curls beside you, its warmth a small defiance against the cold. These fleeting joys anchor you, though the Arctic grip never loosens. The voyage might last 2 or 3 years, with months locked in ice, the sun barely rising in winter's endless twilight. You mark time by tasks mending sails, scrubbing decks, or carving scrimshaw from whalebone, your knife tracing patterns of ships or stars. The rhythm of your life is one of waiting, working, and hoping to return, though many never do. The Arctic whaling trade, fueling lamps and industry, rests on your frozen hands and weary back, a world of profit built on your silent endurance. As we leave the creaking deck behind, let us turn to a tale of ambition and tragedy that haunts the Arctic's ice. The Franklin expedition, a British quest for glory, vanished into the frozen north, leaving only whispers of its fate. Imagine yourself standing on the deck of HMS Erebus, the Arctic wind whispering through the rigging, the air sharp with the scent of frost and tar. It is May 1845, and you are part of Sir John Franklin's expedition, a British mission to chart the Northwest Passagar fabled sea route through Canada is the Arctic archipelago, promising a shortcut from Europe to Asia. The ships Erebus and Terror are sturdy, packed with supplies and 129 men, their hulls gleaming with ambition. Yet this journey, begun with hope, would end in ice, silence, and tragedy. Its fate pieced together from scattered clues. Let the quiet rhythm of this story guide you, as we trace the expedition's path and the mystery of what befell the Erebus and Terror. Franklin, a seasoned explorer at 59, commands with a calm authority, his face weathered by years at sea. The crew, sailors, officers, and specialists are a mix of veterans and eager recruits, their breath visible in the chill of the Arctic spring. The ships, refitted with steam engines and iron plating, carry 3 years' provisions, tinned meats, flour, biscuits, and lemon juice to fend off scurvy. You can picture the hold, stacked with barrels, the air heavy with the musty scent of preserved food and coal. The men's quarters are cramped, lit by flickering lamps, the walls damp with condensation. The expedition sets sail from England, cheered by crowds, its mission backed by the Royal Navy's pride and the air's thirst for discovery. The early months are promising. By July 1845, the ships reach Baffin Bay, where whalers men like those we met earlier spot them, their sails catching the Arctic's pale light. The crew trades letters and news, the air filled with the tang of whale oil and salt pork. Franklin's men are in good spirits, their journals noting sightings of seals and the aurora's eerie glow. The ships press west into Lancaster Sound, navigating ice floes that drift like silent giants. You can hear the creak of timbers, the soft clink of ice against the hull, as the men pole through narrowing channels, their eyes scanning for open water. Then, silence. The expedition vanishes, its fate unknown for years. What happened next is a mosaic of evidence, pieced together from artifacts, Inuit accounts, and modern searches. By 1846, the ships likely entered Peel Sound, heading south toward King William Island. The Arctic summer, brief and fickle, gave way to winter, and the ships became trapped in pack ice, their hulls locked in a frozen vice. The men wintered aboard, the sun vanishing for months, the air thick with the smoke of coal fires. You can imagine the dim cabins, the men huddled in greatcoats, their breath frosting as they played cards or read by candlelight. The ice did not release them in 1847. Supplies dwindled, and the tinned food, poorly sealed, may have carried botulism or lead poisoning, sapping the men's strength. Scurvy, despite precautions, likely set in weakening gums and joints. Franklin died in June 1847, his passing noted in a log, his leadership passing to Captain Francis Crozier. The crew, now desperate, faced a second winter in the ice, the ships groaning under pressure, their decks coated with snow. The air grew heavy with despair, the men's faces gaunt, their rations cut to scraps of biscuit and watery soup. By April 1848, the survivors' 105 men abandoned the ships, as recorded in a note left in a cairn on King William Island. They hauled sledges loaded with tents, tools, and tinned food, their boots crunching through snow, their bodies weakened by hunger and cold. The plan was to trek south to a Hudson's Bay Company outpost, hundreds of miles away, across a landscape of ice and tundra. You can picture the men, their faces wrapped in scarves, dragging sledges that sank into drifts, the wind howling with a ferocity that dulled thought. The air smelled of frost and decay, as frostbite claimed fingers and toes, and exhaustion claimed lives. Inuit oral histories, passed down through generations, tell of encounters with these men, their steps faltering, their voices weak. Some died along the coast, their bodies left to the elements, a grim tableau of lives fading into the snow. Artifacts, spoons, buttons, a telescope were later found scattered across the tundra, hinting at a desperate march. Disturbing evidence, including cut marks on human bones, suggests some resorted to cannibalism, a last act of survival in a land that offered no mercy. The men's fate was sealed by the Arctic's relentless grip, their numbers dwindling until none remained. The mystery captivated Victorian England. Rescue missions, launched from 1848 onward, found only traces, graves, relics, and the cairns. Note: Inuit accounts, initially dismissed, proved vital, guiding searchers to key sites. In 2014 and 2016, the wrecks of Erebus and Terror were found off King William Island, their hulls preserved in the cold depths, cannons and bells still intact. Divers recovered artifacts, a plate, a bootich, a silent witness to the men's ordeal, yet questions linger. Why did the ships take such a risky route? Did lead poisoning or disease hasten their end? The Arctic keeps its secrets, its ice a vault of unanswered truths. As we leave the frozen shores of King William Island, let us turn to the people who thrived where Franklin's men perished. The Inuit, masters of the Arctic, wove survival into stories and songs, their knowledge a beacon in the icebound north. Imagine yourself seated by a flickering fire in an igloo, the air thick with the scent of seal oil and warm furs. Outside, the Arctic wind howls, carrying the bite of eternal winter across a landscape of snow and ice. It is the 19th century, but the stories you hear stretch back millennia, carried by the Inuit, masters of survival in the harshest of worlds. Their oral traditions, tales, songs, and knowledge passed through generations form a living map of the Arctic, guiding them through ice and darkness long before compasses or charts. Let the gentle rhythm of their voices draw you in, as we explore how the Inuit thrived where others faltered, their wisdom woven into the fabric of the frozen north. The Inuit, whose ancestors migrated to the Arctic thousands of years ago, live across what is now Canada, Greenland, and Alaska. Their world is one of ice floes, tundra, and brief summers when the sun never sets. Picture yourself in a coastal camp, the air sharp with the temps of salt water and drying fish. The Inuit home might be an igloo in winter, its snow blocks curved to defy the wind, or a tent of caribou hide in summer, its frame lashed with sinew. The fire, fed by seal blubber, casts a soft glow. Warming hands wrapped in mittens of sealskin, their stitches tight against the cold. Survival here demands intimate knowledge of the land. The Inuit read the ice like a book, its cracks and colors revealing safe paths or hidden dangers. You can imagine an elder, his face etched with lines, teaching a child to spot the faint blue of thin ice or the ripple of a seal's breathing hole. Their stories, told in the cadence of Inuktitut, carry precise details: which rivers yield fish, where caribou migrate, how to navigate by stars when blizzards erase the horizon. These tales are not mere folklore, but a science of survival, honed over centuries in a land that forgives no mistakes. Hunting is the heartbeat of Inuit life. Men paddle kayaks, their frames of driftwood and sealskin gliding silently over icy waters. You hear the soft splash of a harpoon, its bone tip striking a seal, its meat and fat sustaining the community. Women prepare the catch, their ulu knives slicing with precision, the air filled with the rich scent of drying meat. Caribou hunted on the tundra provide hides for clothing and antlers for tools, while walrus tusks are carved into hooks or ornaments. Every part of the animal is used, a respect woven into stories of spirits who watch over the hunt. The Inuits' oral traditions are a tapestry of practical and sacred knowledge. Myths tell of Sedna, the sea goddess, who controls marine life, her anger stirring storms if hunters disrespect her gifts. You can almost hear the chant of a shaman, his drumbeat steady, calling on spirits to guide a hunt or heal the sick. These stories bind the community, their repetition a comfort in the long Arctic night. Elders pass down maps in words descriptions of coastlines, currents, or landmarks like a boulder shaped like a bear, more reliable than paper in a land of ice and wind. Life is not without hardship. Winters bring months of darkness, the air so cold it stings the lungs, the snow muffling all sound. Hunger lurks when game is scarce, and families share what little they have, the community's survival outweighing individual need. Disease, carried by traders or explorers, sweeps through camps, leaving grief in its wake. Yet the Inuit adapt, their stories teaching resilience, how to build a snow shelter in a storm, how to fish through ice, how to sew boots that keep feet warm at 50 below. The rhythm of their lives is one of balance, honoring the land and its spirits while meeting its challenges. The Inuits' knowledge proved vital to outsiders. Like the whalers and explorers we've met, their accounts of white men with strange tools found in the Franklin expedition's aftermath guided searchers to relics and graves. You can picture an Inuit hunter, his parka fringed with fox fur, pointing to a cairn on King William Island, his words describing skeletal remains or abandoned sledges. These stories, once dismissed by Europeans, were later confirmed by archaeology, proving the accuracy of oral tradition. The Inuit knew the Arctic's secret its currents, its ice, its hidden bays when maps failed. Today, Inuit oral histories are recognized as a living archive, preserving not just survival techniques but a worldview that sees humans as part of the land, not its masters. Archaeologists and historians listen closely to elders, their tales guiding digs or climate studies. The story of a whale hunt or a starlit journey is as precise as a chart, its details undimmed by time. The Arctic, unforgiving to so many, was home to the Inuit, their voices a beacon in the ice. As we leave the warmth of the igloo, let us turn to a world far removed from the Arctic's chill. In London's plush halls, the Royal Geographical Society gathers, their maps and ambitions shaping the expeditions that ventured into the frozen north. Imagine yourself seated in a grand dining hall in London, the air warm with the scent of polished mahogany and beeswax candles. It is the 1840s, and you are a guest at the Royal Geographical Society, a bastion of Victorian ambition, where explorers, scientists, and aristocrats gather to chart the unknown. The room hums with the clink of crystal glasses and the murmur of cultured voices, as maps of frozen wastelands unfurl on tables draped in damask. Here, far from the Arctic's ice, the elite plan expeditions that will send men like those on the whaling ships or Franklin's crew into the North's unforgiving embrace. Let the gentle rhythm of this opulent world draw you in, as we explore the lives of these planners, their dreams, and the contrast with the Arctic's harsh realities. The Royal Geographical Society, founded in 1830, is a hub of discovery, its rooms lined with oak panels and portraits of past explorers. You sit at a long table, the glow of chandeliers reflecting off silver cutlery. The meal is lavish, plates of stuffed pheasant, glazed with Madeira sauce, accompanied by roasted parsnips and delicate asparagus. Sherry, poured from decanters, carries a nutty warmth, while claret flows for the main course, its ruby hue catching the light. The air is rich with the aroma of fresh bread and fruit tarts, a far cry from the mouldy hardtack of a weigher's diet. The guests are a mix of naval officers, scientists, and wealthy patrons, their attire formeltal coats for men, silk gowns for women, their jewels glinting softly. You hear the rustle of starched linen as Sir John Barrow, a driving force behind Arctic exploration, speaks of the Northwest Passage, his voice measured but fervent. Maps, hand-drawn with ink and quill, are spread before you, their lines tracing the Arctic's jagged coasts. The paper smells faintly of parchment, its edges curling from use. These men like Franklin, who dined here before his doomed voyage, see the Arctic as a puzzle to solve, a blank space to fill with British glory. The rhythm of their lives is one of privilege and purpose. The Society's members, often educated at Oxford or Cambridge, debate geography, magnetism, or ethnography, their words laced with Latin phrases and references to Cook or Ross. They fund expeditions with private wealth or admiralty grants, their signatures sending ships to face ice and storm. You can picture a scientist, his spectacles glinting, sketching a new sextant design, or a naval officer recounting a voyage to Spitsbergen, his medals pinned proudly to his chest. Their world is one of leather-bound journals, mahogany desks, and the soft scratch of pens, a stark contrast to the frozen decks we visited earlier, yet their plans carry weight. The Arctic expeditions they champion are driven by dreams of trade routes, scientific prestige, and empire. The Northwest Passage, they believe, will open Asia to British ships, bypassing perilous southern routes. You hear discussions of steam engines, tinned food, or magnetic compasses, each innovation a bet against the Arctic's might. The Franklin expedition, launched with fanfare, was born in rooms like this, its ships equipped with the era's best technology. The men here speak of glory, but rarely of the sailors who will face the ice. There lives a footnote in the grand narrative. The Society's dinners are not just meals, but performances of power. A toast is raised to the Queen, the glasses chiming like bells, while servants move silently, their trays laden with confections. The air carries the faint perfume of lavender from the ladies' gloves, mingling with cigar smoke as the men retire to a drawing room. There, over brandy, they pore over maps, their fingers tracing routes through Baffin Bay or Lancaster Sound. The Arctic, to them, is a canvas for ambition, its dangers abstract, its cold a distant concept in this warm hall. Beneath the elegance lies tension. Rivalries simmer between naval officers seeking knighthoods, scientists vying for publications, or patrons competing for influence. The Arctic's failures, like Franklin's looming tragedy, cast shadows, though few speak of them openly. News of lost ships or starving crews filters back slowly, met with furrowed brows and calls for more expeditions. The Inuit, whose knowledge could save lives, are rarely mentioned, their oral maps dismissed as primitive. The elite's confidence, rooted in technology and empire, blinds them to the Arctic's unforgiving nature. The evening ends with a lecture, perhaps on Arctic flora or magnetic variation, delivered to a rustle of programs and polite applause. You leave the hall, the night air cool against your skin. The stars above London, a faint echo of the Arctic's endless night. These men, with their Sherian maps, shaped the voyages that sent whalers to icy seas and Franklin to his fate. Their decisions rippling across the frozen north. Conclusion as we draw this journey to a close. Imagine yourself resting under a quiet sky, the world soft and still. The Arctic's whaling ships, Franklin's lost expedition, the Inuits' enduring wisdom, and the Royal Geographical Society's gilded halls weave a story of struggle, ambition, and survival. The North, with its ice and darkness, tested human limits, claiming lives while preserving stories in snow and song. The whaler's toil, the explorer's dreams, and the Inuit's knowledge shaped a world that feels both distant and near. As you lie here, let the weight of their lives fade, replaced by the gentle comfort of your own time. The Arctic's chill lingers in memory, but you are here, safe in the present, ready to drift into the soft embrace of sleep. Good night. Imagine yourself resting in the quiet of your room, the world outside fading into a soft whisper. Tonight, we're stepping into the gilded halls of Byzantium, the empire of gold, faith, and intrigue that bridged ancient Rome and the medieval world. This is a journey through time, where the scent of incense and the gleam of mosaics carry you to a city of marble and secrets. Picture yourself as a servant in a palace, standing in the shadow of an empress, wandering forgotten tunnels, and watching chariot races from the imperial heights. Let the steady rhythm of this tale guide you, as we explore the lives of the lowly, the power of a remarkable woman, the mysteries beneath Constantinople, and the splendor of its ruling elite. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let the Byzantine world unfold around you. Picture yourself standing in a vast marble hall, the air heavy with the scent of myrrh and polished stone. It is the 6th century, and you are a servant in the great palace of Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire. The palace, a labyrinth of courtyards and colonnades, glitters with mosaics and gold. But for you, it is a world of toil, caution, and unseen dangers. Your life is bound to the whims of emperors, courtiers, and eunuchs, where a single misstep could send you to a dark fate. The rhythm of your days is one of endless tasks, silent steps, and prayers for invisibility. You rise before dawn, the chill of the stone floor seeping through your thin sandals. Your tunic, coarse linen dyed a drab brown, scratches against your skin, a stark contrast to the silks of the nobles you serve. The palace is already stirring, its air filled with the faint clink of silver trays and the murmur of Greek. Your tasks begin in the kitchens, where you haul water from cisterns, its metallic temps clinging to your hands. You knead dough for bread, the flour dusting your arms, or scrub pots blackened by olive oil and herbs. The air is warm with the scent of roasting lamb and rosemary, but you eat sparingly barley porridge or stale crusts, your meals taken in a corner while overseers watch. Cleaning the palace is a never-ending labor. You sweep marble corridors, their surfaces cool and slick, reflecting torchlight in patterns that dazzle the eye. You polish bronze lamps, their surfaces etched with crosses and dust mosaics depicting saints and emperors, their jeweled eyes seeming to follow you. The air carries the faint sweetness of beeswax, but your hands ache from scrubbing, your back bent from hours of work. The palace's grandeur is your burden, its beauty a backdrop to your exhaustion. You move silently, for a loud step or dropped tray could draw the ire of a courtier. The court is a maze of politics, and as a servant, you are both invisible and vulnerable. Eunuchs, powerful and cunning, oversee the palace, their soft voices carrying authority. You learn to avoid their gaze, for they broker favors and punishments with equal ease. A noble might accuse you of theft for a misplaced goblet, or a jealous servant might whisper lies to curry favor. The penalty for error is severe flogging, banishment, or, in rare cases, a descent into the palace's cisterns, vast underground chambers where the unlucky are left to the dark. You hear tales of such fates, the air heavy with the weight of fear. Your days are governed by hierarchy. You bow to everyone's senators in purple robes, priests in embroidered vestments, even higher-ranking servants with better tunics. Your words are few, your eyes kept low, for speaking out of turn invites trouble. You carry trays of figs and wine, 2 banquets, the air rich with the scent of spiced meat and incense, but you never taste the feast. You stand in the shadows, refilling goblets, your presence unnoticed unless you falter. The rhythm of your life is one of deference, each task a reminder of your place at the empire's margins. Yet there are moments of quiet connection. In the servants' quarters, you share stories with others, Greeks, Armenians, or Syrians, drawn from across the empire. The air hums with whispered tales of distant homes, the clink of clay cups filled with watered wine. You mend your tunic by lamplight, the needle's rhythm a small comfort. Festivals, like Easter, bring rare respite, with hymns echoing through the palace, and extra bread on your plate. The Hagia Sophia, visible from the palace grounds, looms as a symbol of faith, its dome a promise of something beyond your toil. The palace's opulence hides its dangers. Disease festers in crowded quarters, a cough spreading through the servants. Ranks like wildfire. Rats scurry in the storerooms, nibbling at grain, and fleas burrow into your bedding. The empire's wealth flows through the palace, but you see only its burden's endless floors to clean, endless orders to obey. The cisterns, vast and echoing, supply water but also serve as grim reminders of punishment. You work to remain unnoticed. Your life, a balance of labor and caution, your dreams tethered to survival. As we leave the marble halls behind, let us turn to a woman who rose from humble origins to command this world. Empress Theodora, once a performer, reshaped the Byzantine court with her wit and will, her story a testament to power forged in defiance. Imagine yourself standing in the shadowed halls of Constantinople's great palace, the air heavy with the scent of incense and rosewater. It is the early 6th century, and you are in the presence of Empress Theodora, a woman whose name echoes through Byzantine history. Once a performer in the city's theaters, she rose to become co-empress alongside Justinian I, her influence shaping the empire from behind silk screens. Her story is one of defiance, cunning, and quiet power, a journey from the margins to the heart of Byzantium. Let the steady rhythm of her life guide you as we trace her rise, her strategies, and the legacy she wove into the empire's golden tapestry. Theodora's origins were humble, far removed from the marble corridors you now see. Born around 500 CE, likely in Constantinople or Cyprus, she grew up in the world of the hippodrome, the city's chariot racing arena. Her father, a bearkeeper, died when she was young, leaving her family to scrape by. As a girl, Theodora performed as an actress and dancer, roles that carried a stigma in Byzantine society. The air of the theater was thick with the scent of cheap perfume and sweat, the crowds rowdy, their cheers mingling with Yet Theodora, with her sharp wit and striking presence, learned to command attention, her voice carrying over the din, her steps graceful despite the coarseness of her world. By her teens, she was known in Constantinople's underbelly, her beauty and intelligence drawing patrons, including powerful men. She traveled to Alexandria, absorbing the city's blend of Christian and pagan thought, the air rich with the scent of papyrus and sea salt. These years sharpened her mind, teaching her to navigate alliances and rivalries. Around 522 CE, she met Justinian, then a rising official under his uncle, Emperor Justin I. Their connection was immediate. Though their union faced obstacles, Byzantine law forbade men of high rank from marrying actresses. Justinian, undeterred, persuaded his uncle to change the law, a testament to Theodora's hold over him. By 527, when Justinian became emperor, Theodora was crowned empress, her past a whisper beneath her imperial robes. Picture her in the palace, her silk gown shimmering with gold thread, her hair adorned with pearls. The court, a maze of intrigue, buzzed with gossip about her origins, but Theodora moved with unshakable confidence. She was not merely Justinian's consort, but his partner, her influence felt in every corner of the empire. From behind a silk screen in the council chamber, she listened to debates, her voice calm but firm, shaping decisions. The air carried the faint rustle of her movements, a reminder of her presence even when unseen. She advised on laws, diplomacy, and religion, her mind as sharp as the quills of the scribes who recorded her words. Theodora's power shone during the Nika riots of 532 CE, when Constantinople erupted in chaos. Factions in the hippodrome, the blues and greens, united against Justinian's taxes and rule, their shouts echoing through the city streets. The palace was besieged, the air thick with smoke, and the cries of a mob that burned churches and homes. Justinian, shaken, prepared to flee, but Theodora stood firm. In a council meeting, her words, recorded by historian Procopius, cut through the panic. Royalty is a fine burial shroud. She urged resistance, her resolve steadying Justinian. The rebellion was crushed, the hippodrome a silent testament. 2 lives lost, though Theodora's role ensured the throne's survival. Her policies reshaped the empire. She championed laws protecting women, banning forced prostitution, granting divorce rights, and punishing abusers. You can imagine her reviewing petitions in a chamber lit by flickering lamps, the air heavy with the scent of parchment and wax. Her faith, rooted in Monophysite Christianity, clashed with Justinian's orthodoxy, yet she sheltered dissenters, her influence softening religious divides. She welcomed envoys from Persia and the West, her diplomacy a quiet force, her gifts of silk and gold sealing alliances. The court, once skeptical, learned to respect her, though whispers of her past never fully faded. Theodora's life was not without strain. Her health, weakened by years of hardship, faltered, and she died in 548 CE, likely of cancer, her passing mourned by Justinian. Her legacy endured in the empire's laws, its art, and its memory. Mosaics in Ravenna's San Vito church capture her, her face serene, her robes aglow with jewels, a testament to her power. She was no saint. Procopius's secret history paints her as ruthless, but her will shaped an empire. Her story a bridge from the stage to the throne. As we leave Theodora's gilded world, let us descend beneath Constantinople's streets, where forgotten tunnels hide secrets of the empire's past. Aqueducts, crypts, and escape routes await, their mysteries still unfolding in the shadows. Imagine yourself descending a narrow stone staircase, the air cool and heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient mortar. You are beneath Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, in a labyrinth of tunnels, cisterns and crypts that pulse with the city's hidden history. These subterranean chambers, carved over centuries, once carried water, sheltered secrets, and offered escape from danger. Now, in the shadow of modern Istanbul, archaeologists uncover their mysteries, each stone a whisper of the empire's past. Let the quiet rhythm of these underground spaces guide you, as we explore their purpose, their secrets, and the stories they hold beneath the city's streets. Constantinople, perched between Europe and Asia, was a city of layers. Its surface, of marble and gold, built upon a foundation of engineering and ingenuity. You hold a flickering torch, its light casting shadows on walls, slick with moisture. The air carries the faint temps of minerals, the sound of dripping water echoing in the vastness. The basilica cistern, one of the largest looms around you, its forest of columns reflected in a shallow pool, their bases submerged like silent sentinels. Built under Justinian I in the 6th century, it stored water for the great palace. Its arches a marvel of precision, their mortar stained with centuries of damp. The cisterns were the city's lifeline, channeling water from distant aqueducts to sustain a population of 500,000. You can picture workers, their tunics damp, hauling clay pipes or clearing silt, their voices muffled in the cavernous dark. The air is cool, a relief from the city's summer heat, but the labor was grueling. The weight of stone and water, a constant burden. The Valens aqueduct, stretching across the city's hills, fed these reservoirs, its arches a testament to Roman engineering, carried forward by Byzantine hands. The water, tasting of earth and time, kept palaces and fountains flowing, a quiet rhythm beneath the empire's pulse. Beyond cisterns, the tunnels served darker purposes. Some were crypts, their niches holding the bones of monks or nobles, the air thick with the musty scent of decay long settled. Others were escape routes, carved for emperors fleeing coups or invasions. You trace a narrow passage, its walls rough, imagining a hurried flight, the rustle of silk, the clink of armor, the fear of pursuit. During the 1204 Fourth Crusade, when Constantinople fell to Latin invaders, such tunnels may have saved lives, though many ended in betrayal or dead ends. Their secrets buried with their users. Archaeologists today, armed with lanterns and brushes, uncover these spaces beneath Istanbul's bustling streets. The air hums with the soft scrape of tools, revealing fragments of pottery, rusted hinges, or faded inscriptions in Greek. One tunnel, found near the Hagia Sophia, stretches toward the Bosphorus. Its purpose, unclear. Was it for water, escape, or smuggling? Another, beneath a modern market, holds a mosaic floor, its tiles chipped but vivid, a relic of a vanished palace. Each find is a puzzle piece, the damp air preserving clues that time has softened but not erased. The tunnels whisper of the empire's fears and ambitions. During sieges, like the Arab assaults of the 7th and 8th centuries, cisterns stored not just water but grain, their vaults a bulwark against starvation. The air would have been heavy with the scent of barley and oil, the silence broken by the shuffle of guards. Some passages, sealed for centuries, hold rumors of treasure gold coins, icons, or relics hidden from invaders, yet most yield humbler finds, a worker's lamp, a broken amphora, a child's toy carved from bone, each a thread in the city's unseen history. The Byzantines knew these tunnels well, though few spoke of them. Servants, like those we met, might have carried water from cisterns, their steps echoing in the dark, their lives tied to the city's hidden veins. Emperors and generals used secret paths to move unseen, their plans whispered in chambers where no light reached. The air, cool and still, held their secrets, from plots against rivals to prayers for deliverance. The tunnels were a shadow world, their silence a counterpoint to the city's clamor above. Modern excavations, begun in the 20th century, continue to reveal these spaces. Ground-penetrating radar maps, corridors beneath mosques and markets, while divers explore flooded cities, their lights glinting off submerged columns. The Basilica Cistern, now a tourist site, echoes with the footsteps of visitors. But smaller tunnels remain closed, their entrances lost or guarded. Questions linger: how many passages remain undiscovered? What stories lie buried and collapsed? Chambers, the city's underworld, like its history, resists full revelation. Its secrets a quiet hum beneath the Istanbul streets. As we ascend from these shadowed depths, let us step into the vibrant light of the Hippodrome, where emperors entertained and ruled. The imperial box awaits a world of velvet cushions and chariot races, where power and spectacle intertwined. Imagine yourself seated on a velvet cushion in the imperial box of Constantinople's Hippodrome, the air alive with the scent of dust, horse sweat, and burning incense. It is the 6th century, and you are among the Byzantine elite, gathered in this grand arena where chariot races, spectacles, and politics intertwine. The Hippodrome, a vast oval of stone and sand, pulses with the roar of thousands. It stands packed with citizens from every corner of the empire. Here, emperors like Justinian and Theodora display their power, entertain the masses, and navigate the delicate dance of rule. Let the steady rhythm of this vibrant scene draw you in, as we explore the life of the elite, their spectacles, and the schemes woven into the empire's heart. The Hippodrome, adjacent to the Great Palace, is a theater of imperial grandeur. Sit high above the track, the box adorned with silk drapes in purple and gold, the colors of royalty. The air carries the faint sweetness of myrrh, burned in braziers to honor the emperor, and the tang of spiced wine served in silver goblets. Below, the track stretches long and narrow, its surface packed with sand, flanked by statues of bronze, horses and marble gods. The crowd's cheers rise like a wave, their voices a mix of Greek, Latin, and tongues from distant provinces. Their tunics a patchwork of colors under the sun. The races are the day's heart, a spectacle that binds emperor to people. For teams blues, greens, reds, and whites compete, their chariots thundering around the track, wheels rattling, horses snorting clouds of dust. You hear the crack of whips, the creak of wood, as drivers lean into turns, their faces taut. With focus, the imperial box offers a clear view. The emperor and empress seated on thrones, their robes shimmering with gold thread. Justinian, calm and watchful, raises a hand to signal the start, while Theodora, her gaze sharp, reads the crowd's mood. The air hums with anticipation, each race a test of skill and a mirror of the empire's divisions. Life in the imperial box is a performance of power. You are surrounded by senators, generals, and patriarchs, their tunics heavy with embroidery, their fingers adorned with rings of sapphire and emerald. Servants, like those we met, move silently, offering trays of figs, almonds, and honeyed pastries, their steps careful to avoid notice. The air is rich with the scent of roasted lamb from nearby feasts, though you eat lightly, aware that every gesture is watched. Conversations are measured, laced with flattery or subtle probes, as courtiers vie for favor. A misplaced word could shift alliances. The stakes as high as in the races below. The hippodrome is more than entertainment. It is a stage for politics. The blues and greens, factions rooted in the city's social fabric, are not just racing teams but political powers, their supporters ranging from artisans to nobles. You hear their chants, fervent and sometimes defiant, echoing demands for lower taxes or justice. Emperors use the hippodrome to gauge the city's pulse, granting favors or quelling unrest. During the Nika riots, as we saw with Theodora, this arena became a battleground, its sands briefly stained with the cost of rebellion. The air then was thick with smoke and fear, a reminder of the crowd's power. The elite's life here is one of privilege and pressure. You wear a silk cloak, its weight a mark of status, but you feel the emperor's gaze, his favor a fragile thing. Banquets follow the races, the tables laden with peacock, olives, and cheeses from distant provinces. Musicians play lyres, their melodies soft against the crowd's din, while acrobats tumble for the court's amusement. The air carries the clink of goblets and the rustle of scrolls, as officials discuss trade routes or wars with Persia. Every smile hides a calculation, every gift a bid for influence. The court's rhythm one of splendor and suspicion. The emperor's role is central. Justinian might distribute gold coins to the crowd, their glint catching the sun, a gesture of generosity that binds loyalty. Theodora, ever astute, might whisper to an aide, sending a message to a wavering senator. The box is a microcosm of empire, where faith, power, and spectacle converge. Priests in embroidered vestments bless the races, their chants invoking divine favor, while envoys from foreign courts watch, their gifts of amber or ivory a nod to diplomacy. The air is alive with the scent of ambition, as deals are struck in the shadows of the stands. Yet the hippodrome's glory rests on unseen labor. Servants toil to prepare feasts, their hands raw from scrubbing, while stable hands groom horses, their stalls thick with the scent of hay and leather. The crowd, from bakers to merchants, fills the stands, their lives far humbler than the elite they cheer. The races, a fleeting escape, mask the empire's tensions, taxes, wars, religious schisms. The imperial box, with its velvet and gold, is a world apart from the servants' corridors or the tunnels beneath. Yet all are threads in Byzantium's tapestry as the chariots slow and the crowd disperses. You feel the weight of the day's spectacle, the air now soft with evenings cool. The hippodrome, like the empire, is a place of beauty and burden, its races a fleeting mirror of its power. As we draw this journey to a close, imagine yourself resting under a quiet sky, the stars a faint echo of Constantinople's golden mosaics, the servants' toil, Theodora's reign, the tunnel's secrets, and the hippodrome's splendor weave a story of labor, ambition, and hidden depths. Byzantium, with its marble halls and chariot tracks, was a world of light and shadow. Its people, bound by faith, power, and survival, their lives, from the lowliest to the grandest, shaped an empire that still whispers through time. As you lie here, let the weight of their world fade, replaced by the gentle comfort of your own. The city's echoes linger, but you are here, safe in the present, ready to drift into the soft embrace of sleep. Good night. Close your eyes if you like, and let your mind drift. Tonight, we're stepping into the world of the Aztec Empire, a place where glory and gods wove a tapestry of awe and fear, where every sunrise demanded devotion, and every step carried the weight of ritual. This is not a tale of high drama or breathless adventure, but a slow, steady journey through a civilization both vibrant and unyielding. Imagine yourself there, in the heart of Tenochtitlan, surrounded by the hum of voices, the scent of copal incense, and the distant beat of drums. The air is warm, heavy with the promise of rain. As you settle in, let the rhythm of this story carry you, gently, into the past. We'll walk through the daily lives of the Aztecs, explore the fall of their emperor Moctezuma, uncover the mysteries of their sacred sunstone, and glimpse the world of their elite. There's no rush, let the details unfold, and if sleep finds you, let it come. Our journey begins with the ordinary people of the Aztec Empire, those who toiled under the sun and stars, their lives shaped by faith, duty, and the ever-present shadow of the gods. Picture yourself waking at dawn in a small adobe house, its walls cool to the touch, the floor packed earth smoothed by years of footsteps. The air carries the faint tank of maize roasting on a clay comal, tended by your mother or sister. You rise barefoot, your toes curling against the ground, and step outside into the bustle of your neighborhood, one of many in the sprawling city. Titlan, the canals gleam under the early light, lined with Chinampos floating gardens heavy with squash, beans, and vibrant flowers. Canoes glide silently, their paddles dipping in rhythm, as vendors call out their wares, tamales, turkeys, bundles of reeds. This is your world, and it hums with life. Your day is governed by ritual. Before eating, you offer a pinch of maize to the hearth fire, a quiet gesture to honor the gods who sustain you. The Aztecs believed the universe was fragile, held together by divine will, and every act, eating, working, even bathing, was a chance to maintain that balance. You wash your hands and face twice daily, not just for cleanliness but as a sacred act. Children are taught this early, their small hands guided by elders to pour water from a clay jug. Neglect these rituals, and you risk angering the gods. The thought that lingers like a shadow dot as a commoner. Your life is one of labor. If you're a man, you might be a farmer, tending chinampas with a wooden digging stick, the mud cool and slick under your feet. The work is backbreaking, your muscles aching as you haul water or clear weeds. But there's a rhythm to it, a steady pulse that matches the calls of herons overhead. Women, meanwhile, spend hours grinding maize on a metate, the stones scraping softly, their knees pressed into reed mats. The sound is constant, a lullaby of survival, as the dough is shaped into tortillas or tamales. Everyone works. Children carry water, elders weave baskets because idleness is a sin, a disrespect to the gods who gifted you life. Food is simple but cherished. Your meals are maize-based, tortillas, atolia, warm porridge, or tamales stuffed with chili and beans. Meat is rare, perhaps a turkey leg on a festival day or a sliver of dog stew. Vegetables like avocados, tomatoes, and nogales brighten your plate, their colors vivid against the clay. You eat cross-legged on a mat, savoring each bite, aware that famine is never far. The marketplace tempts with luxuries: honey, cacao butt. These are for the wealthy. You trade your surplus crops for obsidian tools or cotton cloth, haggling with a vendor whose voice is as steady as the canal's flow. Yet, beneath this routine lies a current of fear. The gods, the Aztecs believed, required blood to keep the sun rising, the rains falling. Human sacrifice was the ultimate offering, and as a commoner, you knew you could be chosen. Captives from war were the usual victims, their lives given on the temple steps. But in times of crisis, drought, disease, the priests might look to the city's own. You pass the great temple daily, its twin pyramids looming, their stones stained dark. The air there is thick with incense, and something heavier, a reminder of the cost of cosmic order. You avert your eyes, whispering a prayer to Wits, the sun god, hoping your devotion is enough. This fear shapes your life subtly, but constantly. Children are raised with discipline, taught to endure pain, to honor the gods. Boys prick their ears with maguey spines, letting drops of blood fall as offerings. Girls learn to weave and cook, their hands busy to prove their worth. Education is universal. Boys attend Telpochkali, learning warfare and trade. Girls learn household skills, but both are steeped in religion. You memorize hymns, their cadence is soothing yet solemn, and learn the 260-day ritual calendar. Each day a sign of divine will. To err in these duties is to invite misfortune, not just for you, but for your family, your city. Social bonds hold you together. Your Kalpuli, a clan-like neighborhood, is your safety net. You farm communal land, share tools, and celebrate festivals together. At night, you gather for stories or songs, the firelight casting soft shadows. Marriages are arranged, often between sealing alliances with feasts of tamales and pulque, a fermented drink that loosens tongues. Yet even joy is tempered. A drunken relative risks punishment, as intoxication is sacred, reserved for elders or rituals. Every act, every choice, is watched not just by neighbors but by the gods. The rhythm of your life is relentless, but not without beauty. You pause to watch a heron lift from a canal, its wings slicing the air. You smile at a child chasing a stray dog, their laughter bright against the city's hum. You feel the weight of your world labor, fear, faith, but also its pulse, its stubborn persistence. As night falls, you return to your adobe house, the stars sharp above. You offer another pinch of maize to the fire, lie on your reed mat, and let the sounds, often octatlan distant drums, a mother's lullaby carry you to sleep. Now, let your mind drift from the daily rhythms of Tenochtitlan to a moment when the world of the Aztecs began to unravel. Imagine yourself standing in the great city in 1519. The air thick with the scent of copal incense and the distant murmur of crowds, the canals shimmer under the sun, and the great temple looms, its steps gleaming with offerings. But a new sound ripples through the city, whispers of strangers from the east. Men with pale faces and shining armor, led by a man named Hernan Cortes. This is the story of Moctezuma II, the Aztec emperor, and the slow, inevitable collapse of his rule. Settle in, let the details unfold gently, and feel the weight of a civilization at a crossroads. Moctezuma II, or Montezuma, as the Spanish called him, was no ordinary man. Picture him in his palace, a sprawling complex of stone and stucco, its walls adorned with featherwork and polished obsidian. He is tall, regal, his cloak woven with quetzal feathers that shimmer like emerald flames. His presence commands silence, for he is the Tlatoani, the speaker of the gods, chosen to lead the Aztec Empire at its zenith. By 1519, the empire stretches across central Mexico, from the Gulf to the Pacific, its tribute flowing in maids, jade, cacao, and captives. Moctezuma's rule is absolute, yet he is not a warrior king. He is a priest, a scholar, a man who studies omens in the stars and listens to the murmurs of his advisors. The first whispers of the Spanish come from the coast. Scouts report strange men arriving on floating houses, their bodies clad in metal, their hands wielding sticks that spit fire. Some say they are gods, perhaps Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, whose return was foretold. Moctezuma, ever cautious, sends emissaries with gifts: gold, turquoise, feather cloaks, hoping to appease these strangers. Imagine the scene. Aztec nobles, their faces painted, their cloaks heavy with embroidery, presenting treasures to Cortes and his men on a windswept shore. The Spanish, weary from their voyage, marvel at the wealth, their eyes glinting with ambition. Moctezuma's gifts, meant to placate, only fuel their greed. As Cortes marches inland, Moctezuma he consults priests, who read the omens. In the sky, a temple fire that refuses to be quenched. The Tlatoani's world is one of signs, where every event carries divine meaning. Is Cortes a god, a conqueror, or both? Moctezuma's indecision grows, his advisors divided. Some urge war, others diplomacy. He sends more gifts, more messengers, urging the strangers to turn back. But Cortes, driven by gold and glory, presses on, forging alliances with the Aztecs, enemies, like the Tlaxcalans, who resent Tenochtitlan's dominance. Picture the Spanish moving through dusty valleys, their horses a sight unknown to the Aztecs, stamping the earth, their armor clinking softly in the heat. By November 1519, Cortes reaches Tenochtitlan. Imagine yourself among the crowd as the Spanish enter, their boots heavy on the causeway, the lake surface rippling beside them. Moctezuma greets them, calm but guarded, offering hospitality. He invites Cortes into his palace, a gesture of diplomacy or a miscalculation. The Spanish are awed by the city, its canals, its markets brimming with goods, its temples soaring above. But they are uneasy, surrounded by a people whose rituals they cannot fathom. Moctezuma, still uncertain, treats Cortes as a guest, perhaps a divine one, hosting feasts of tamales, turkey, and cacao. The air is tense, fragrant with flowers and suspicion. Tensions simmer. The Spanish, fearing treachery, sees Moctezuma in his own palace. Picture him now, no longer the untouchable Tlatoani, but a captive, his movements watched, his words weighed. He remains composed, issuing orders to keep the city calm, but his authority frays. The Aztecs grow restless, their whispers turning to murmurs of defiance. In 1520, disaster strikes. During a festival, Spanish soldiers, unnerved by the chants and drums, attack a gathering of Aztec nobles, their swords cutting through the crowd. The city erupts. Imagine the chaos, warriors shouting, women pulling children to safety, the canals choked with canoes. The fallen lie in the streets, their blood seeping into the earth, a grim echo of the sacrifices they once offered. Moctezuma, urged by Cortes, tries to quell the uprising. Picture him on a palace balcony, his voice steady but strained, calling for peace. The crowd, once reverent, now sees weakness. Stones fly, one striking the emperor. Days later, he is gone dead, perhaps from the wound, perhaps by Spanish hands, or, as some whispered, by his own despair. The sources disagree, their accounts blurred by time and bias. What is clear is the void he leaves. The Aztecs rally under new leaders, driving the Spanish out in the chaotic Norchitreast, where Cortes and his men flee, their numbers cut down, their gold sinking into the lake. The empire does not fall yet. Cortes regroups, his allies grow, and smallpox brought by the Spanish sweeps through Tenochtitlan, claiming lives faster than any sword. By 1521, the city will fall, its temples toppled, its canals silenced. But in this moment, as Moctezuma's life fades, the Aztec world still stands, fragile but proud. Imagine yourself there, watching the sun set over the city, its light catching the temple stones. The air is heavy, the future uncertain. The rhythm of life continues, but its cadence has shifted, a prelude to an ending. As we leave Moc's story, let your mind linger on the weight of his choices, the clash of worlds. We turn now to the heart of Aztec belief, the sunstone, the gods, and the mysteries that bound their world together. Let your mind drift now, away from the turmoil of Moctezuma's fall, to the heart of the Aztec world, their beliefs, their rituals, the sacred pulse that drove their civilization. Picture yourself standing in the ceremonial plaza of Tenochtitlan, the great temple rising before you, its twin stairways stretching toward the sky. The air is heavy with the scent of burning copal, its smoke curling upward like a prayer. Around you, the city hums, but here, in this sacred space, time feels still, tethered to the gods. Tonight, we explore the mysteries of the Aztec cosmos, embodied in the sunstone, the demands of their deities, and the rituals that bound their lives to the divine. Settle in, let the details unfold slowly, and feel the rhythm of a world where every act was an offering. At the center of our story is the sunstone, a massive basalt disc, nearly 12 feet wide, carved with the weight of Aztec belief. Imagine yourself before it, its surface etched with intricate glyphs, its edges radiating like the sun itself. This is not a calendar, as some once thought, but a cosmic map, a testament to the Aztecs' understanding of time and divinity. At its heart lies the face of Tonatiuh, the sun god, his tongue a flint knife, his eyes staring unyielding. Around him, 4 squares depict the previous era as the 4 jaguars, 4 winds, 4 rains, 4 waters, each destroyed by cataclysm, their stories whispered by priests. The Aztecs believed they lived in the 5th sun, the 4 earthquakes, destined to end unless the gods were sustained. The sunstone, now housed in Mexico City's National Anthropology Museum, was likely an altar, perhaps stained with offerings. Its carvings tell a story of balance, day and night, life and death, all held in delicate tension. As you trace its glyph serpents, claws, hearts, you sense the Aztecs' awe, their need to appease forces beyond mortal control. Crafting it was a labor of devotion, artisans chipping away with obsidian tools, their hands steady despite the stone's weight. When finished, it stood in the temple precinct, a silent witness to rituals that kept the cosmos turning. Those rituals centered on the gods, a vast pantheon led by Huitzilopochtli, the sun god, and Tlaloc, the rain deity. Imagine yourself at a festival for Huitzilopochtli, the plaza thronged with dancers, their ankle bells jingling, their faces painted black and red, drums pulse, their rhythm like a heartbeat. As priests ascend the temple steps, their cloaks heavy with feathers, the Aztecs believed the sun needed strength to rise each dawn, a strength drawn from human blood, the precious water that fueled the divine. Sacrifice was their highest offering, a debt repaid for the gods' gift of existence. Here, we must pause, for this is a heavy truth. The Aztecs practiced human sacrifice on a scale that startles the modern mind. Most victims were captives, warriors taken in flowery wars designed to secure offerings. Picture a procession. A young man, his body painted, his eyes distant, led up the temple steps. He is honored, fed well, even adorned, for his life will sustain the sun. At the summit, priests guide him to a stone slab, their voices chanting softly. The act is swift, his heart offered to the sky, his life given to ensure the dawn. The crowd below murmurs prayers, their faces solemn, not cruel. This is not savagery to them, but necessity, a sacred exchange. The aftermath is handled with care. The temple steps bear the marks of these offerings, the stones darkened by time and use. Priests collect the remains, some used in rituals, others returned to families or allies. The city continues its rhythm, the market bustling, children playing by the canals. Sacrifice was woven into life, not a spectacle but a duty. Estimates vary hundreds, perhaps thousands annually, but it was constant, especially during crises, like drought or defeat. Yet the Aztecs also offered their own blood, pricking their ears or tongues with spines, letting drops fall onto paper or earth, a personal act of devotion. Beyond sacrifice, the gods demanded beauty. Imagine a festival for Tlaloc, the rain god, where children sing, their voices high and clear as priests scatter flower petals. Temples brim with offerings, jade beads, quetzal feathers, maize sculpted into divine shapes. Artisans craft codices, their pages painted with turquoise and ochre, recording myths and omens. Poets compose hymns, their words weaving tales of creation, recited at feasts where pulque flows. The Aztecs saw art as prayer, each creation a bridge to the divine. Gods shaped culture, too. The 260-day ritual calendar, the tonal pauali, guided every life. Picture a mother consulting a priest, his fingers tracing a codex to name her newborn based on the day's sign. Each day carried meaning: rabbit deer, serpent influencing marriages, battles, even planting. Priests, their faces stern, read omens in the stars or the flight of birds, their words shaping kings' decisions. Education reinforced this worldview. Boys and girls learned hymns, dances, and the calendar's cycles, their minds steeped in the gods' demands. Yet there was joy in this devotion. Festivals filled the year, 18 months of 20 days, each with its rites. Imagine yourself at the feast of the flaying of men, not for its grim name but for its vibrancy. Markets overflowing, dancers spinning, the air rich with chili and honey. Even sacrifice had moments of reverence, victims treated as living gods. Before their end, the Aztecs lived with death close, not as terror but as a partner in the cosmic dance. As you stand before the sunstone, its glyphs glowing faintly in your mind, feel the weight of this world, its awe, its cost, its beauty. The gods demanded much, but they gave the Aztecs purpose, a reason to rise each dawn. Let this image linger as we shift to our final segment, to the lives of those who stood above the rest, the Aztec elite, their world of jaguar pelts, cacao, and obsidian mirrors. Let your mind drift now, away from the sacred mysteries of the sunstone, to a world of privilege and power within the Aztec Empire. Imagine yourself stepping into the heart of Tenochtitlan, past the bustling markets and humble adobe homes, toward a grand palace of polished stone. The air is fragrant with jasmine and copal, the sound of flutes floating softly from within. This is the realm of the Aztec elite nobles, priests, and warriors where life glimmers with luxury yet pulses with duty. Picture their cloaks of quetzal feathers, their cups of frothy cacao, their obsidian mirrors reflecting a world apart from the commoner's toil. Settle in, let the details unfold gently, and feel the rhythm of a life both opulent and bound by the gods. As a noble, or pili, your world is one of distinction. Picture yourself in a sprawling palace, its courtyards lush with flowers, its walls painted with murals of gods and conquests. Your home is vast, with rooms for feasts, weaving, and private worship, its floors covered in red mats dyed crimson and blue. Servants move quietly, their heads bowed, tending braziers that cast a warm glow. Your status is inherited, passed through bloodlines, but it must be earned through service, war, governance, or devotion. Unlike commoners, you are exempt from taxes, your wealth drawn from tribute, maize, cotton, jade, and captives from distant lands. Your appearance sets you apart. Imagine yourself adorned in a cloak of feathers, each quill shimmering like liquid emerald, woven by artisans who labor for months. Your ears and lips bear jade plugs, their weight a reminder of your rank. Men wear their hair tied high. Women braid theirs with ribbons of gold. Sumptuary laws guard your privilege only. Nobles may wear cotton, sandals, or cloaks below the knee. Commoners in such finery risk death, their defiance a threat to the cosmic order. As you walk the city, eyes lower in respect, and you feel the weight of your role, to lead, to honor the gods, to uphold the empire. Warriors especially embody this duty. Picture the elite among them, the jaguar and eagle warriors, their names evoking the fiercest creatures of earth and sky. As a jaguar warrior, you wear a pelt, its spots dark against your skin, your helmet snarling with obsidian teeth. Eagles' dan feathers, their capes sweeping like wings. These are no ordinary soldiers but knights of the Empire, chosen for capturing enemies alive, their bravery proven in the flowery wars. Imagine yourself training in the Kuakali, a warrior lodge, your muscles straining as you wield a makuaweetle, a wooden club edged with obsidian blades sharp enough to sever bone. Your goal is not to kill but to subdue, offering captives for the temple altars. War is your path to glory. Each captive elevates your rank, earning you titles, land, or the right to wear finer cloaks. At feasts, you recount your deeds, your voice steady as nobles sip cacao, its foam bitter and rich, but the cost is high. Battles are fierce, the air thick with dust and cries, the ground slick with the fallen. Survivors bear scars, their bodies marked by devotion. Some warriors, in rituals, offer their own blood, slicing their arms with obsidian, their pain a gift to Huitzilopochtli. To die, in battle or on the altar, is the highest honor. Your soul destined to join the sun's journey. Priests, to hold elite status. Imagine yourself as one, your black-painted body draped in a cloak of human hair, your ears crusted with blood from offerings. You live in the temple, its stone cool underfoot, your days spent chanting, fasting, and reading codices. Your role is to guide the city's soul, interpreting omens, a comet, a malformed crop that shape Moctezuma's decrees. During rituals, you lead the chants, your voice rising above drums as offerings ascend the temple steps. The weight of cosmic balance rests on you, yet your life is comfortable, fed by tribute, your chambers filled with incense and flowers. Daily life, for the elite, is rich with pleasure. Picture a feast in your palace, nobles reclining on mats, their laughter soft against the clink of clay cups. Servants offer tamales stuffed with turkey, chilies, or honey, alongside a tole laced with vanilla. Cacao is your treasure, ground with spices and whipped into foam, served in painted gourds. Only nobles may drink it regularly. Its warmth, a privilege commoners taste only at festivals. You play patolier, a board game with beans as dice, wagering cloaks or jade. Musicians strum topanastli drums, their rhythms soothing, while poets recite verses of love and war. Yet luxury has its shadows. Imagine gazing into an obsidian mirror, its surface dark and polished, said to reveal truths or omens. Your reflection wavers, a reminder of your duties. Nobles govern, settling disputes in their kalpuli or advising the Tlatoani. You oversee tribute, your scribes tallying maize or feathers on a mate paper. Failure invites punishment, banishment. Even death for your role is sacred, your actions tied to the gods' favor. Women, though rarely rulers, wield power, managing households or serving as priestesses, their weaving as vital as a warrior's blade. Education shapes your children. Boys attend Komakak, a temple school, learning astronomy, rhetoric, and war. Girls study weaving, ritual, and healing, their hands deft with herbs or spindles. Both learn the calendar, their minds honed to serve the empire. Marriages are alliances, sealed with feasts where pulque flows, its tang sharp on the tongue. Your life is one of splendor, but never idle. Every act, from drinking cacao to leading warriors, is a thread in the empire's fabric. As you stand in your palace, the city's hum faint beyond the walls. Feel the pulse of this world, vibrant, ordered, fragile. The elite live apart, yet their lives, like the commoners, are bound to the gods, their glory a fleeting gift. Let this image linger as we move toward our conclusion, reflecting on the Aztec Empire and the quiet comfort of your own night.